Good morning, Xbox. Yes, good morning, everybody. Welcome to 2022, our first episode of the new year, and what a year this is going to be. So, again, thank you for being with us. Thank you for your support during the last year, and we look forward to seeing you all more again in this year. We've got obviously our fantastic panel ready to roll here, and just waiting on Axel to show up in just a moment. And our guest today is a man who rarely needs an introduction, but we're going to introduce him to you in case you're not familiar. Yes, it is PopeArt, and while we're waiting for everybody to show up, I tell you what, let's run a little video in the background here to get you acquainted with the Pope. Here it is. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's how you get it done. Yes, our guest this morning, the one, the only PopeArt. We're going to talk to him momentarily. Let's get Axel in here. Let's start with our panel introductions. What a way to kick things off this morning. A great tune in the background and amazing art. But yes, let's catch up with the panel, starting with Eternal Shaddai. Shaddai, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning and a happy New Year's to the panel. I hope you had a great weekend full of laughter. This is the beginning of a new year. Let's see what's gonna bring. And first of all, welcome Pope to Good Morning Xbox. And it's pretty much an honor to meet you through this through this podcast.
That's how it's done, baby. That's how it's done. All right, let's get over to Coolcat Terri. How you been?
I've been doing pretty well. I don't have really too much to report. I haven't been celebrating the holiday stuff. I just haven't had time.
Fair enough.
There's nothing to report. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I canceled my birthday. I canceled Christmas, and I canceled New Year's. I'll come back to them later. But that's about it. I hope everyone's well though.
Oh, damn. Ebenezer in the house. All right, let's get over to Scrub Nerds. What's happening, my fellow friend?
Hey everybody, what's going on? Glad to see y'all. A new year, 2022. New year, new gamer, maybe. I don't know. But glad to see y'all all awake from us. We done knocked over our hangovers. Glad to have Pope here, and let's talk games. Let's have a good time.
All right, heading down to the wise old gamer, Mr. Cerebral Paul himself.
please God, let 2022 or 2022 be better than 2021. Oh my, please, please, please. Anyway, welcome everybody. We're off to. So far, it's been a good start to a year. Of course, it's only been one day, so let's see what it has to offer. Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. Last but not least, we got Axel 1324 coming in hot and heavy. What's going on, Axel?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy New Year to everybody. Pope, it's so awesome to have you on the show. I feel it's going to be fire today. And of course, as always, just real quick, we're keeping Spooky Sprocket in our prayers. Hopefully, he makes a full recovery here soon.
Well said. Yes, Spooky, our thoughts are with you. Terrible news to hear that you went down and you're in the hospital, and hopefully he recovers very quickly. He's a great guy who was on Gaming After Dark not so long ago. We hope to have you back on again. So we're all pulling for you, brother. Thank you for bringing that up, Axel. And hello to everybody. Like I said, 2022, guys, we're here. Our great guest this morning. We do have some regular topics as well. We'll get into those in just a bit. But let's find out a little bit more about what makes the Pope tick. Now, me and the Pope, we go back quite a few years, even way back when I was on the Console Corner and a few other podcasts. So in my early years, beginning with this stuff, I remember the Pope, and I can't exactly say I remember where I met him first originally, but obviously through social media and the different channels. Now, for those of you who are not acquainted, yes, he went by the Xbox Pope for a very long time. That's now been shortened up to accommodate his wide range of artistic talents that are used from multiple manufacturers and distributors. And here he is. We're lucky to have him here with us this morning. His time is very valuable. He's a very busy man, as you can see by some of the controller designs and things that he's done just recently. So, Pope, welcome. We greatly appreciate you being here. It's been a long time in the making, and we can't wait to dig into your brain and find out how all this process came about.
Yeah, well, it's been nice to finally get on a new podcast for this year. My first one this year. So, yeah, me and Newf definitely go back a long, long time. Yeah, I can't even. I can't remember when we actually introduced ourselves to her. I think it was. It was definitely on a podcast show, wasn't it?
It seemed to be, yeah. I don't know. I know. Oh God, was it through potentially?
It was like
Mooch and Crap in the morning, or Xbox Nation, perhaps.
I think it was even further back than that. With is it Che Wolf and JKB?
Yeah,
and
the Console Corner. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's where we first were first tangled. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, so it's it's definitely been a journey for Pope. Like you say, the old Xbox Pope days. It was actually Mooch who named me that, you know, and because obviously I'm not really a religious guy, you know, and I was like, I kind of call myself Xbox Pope, man, you know,
right.
But it kind of stuck. People sort of adopted it, and especially the guys that Xbox adopted it, you know. So it's hung around for a while. But then obviously, you know, demand for fan art, as I call it, was just sort of
Let me correct something in chat real quick before we have an international incident. The Pope is not English. Okay, you're gonna start a war if you call him that. You know.
Well, I'm English. I'm definitely not American. I know that. It's no, I'm technically English, but I live in the borders of, like, in between Scotland and England, so I can duck and dive between the two nations, you know, if I want. But no, it's yeah, so obviously it all started with one guy, and I think you might know him back in the day. Newf. Was he? I think he was called something like Iron Wolf or something like that.
Sounds familiar.
Anyway, he had said, you know, can he do as a Gears controller? And I was like, I had no clue what the hell I was doing, you know. And and it just kind of like spiraled out of that, you know. It was people just, oh well, can you put my avatar on? Can you put my, you know, can you do this? Can you do that? And even to this day, I think 6 years later, it's still like that, you know. It's still oh, will you do my sort of logo? Will you do my
Right.
and I do open it up. It's important for me to do fan arts because what I've found over the years is they have a bigger meaning than just pictures. Some of the stories I get privately is, people, we're having a bit of a shit day, and I've dropped a bit of fan art on them, and it's picked their spirits up. It's made them feel better inside, happier. So there is an importance to it, not just me, bashing these things out just for fun, although I do quite a lot of them. I think I can average about 50 a week if I wanted to,
Right.
And it's because I allow them to happen organically rather than force them to be something. Because remember, the stories on a controller, really, it's not graphics.
Correct.
So, when you see like little dents and scratch marks and stuff, it's as if like you've took your controller through the game, it's went on this journey with you. So there's more of a storytelling.
So, Pope, before you got into the gaming side of things, though, like you've definitely done a lot of commission work and work for various big companies. If my memory serves me correctly, like people like Heinz and other people like that, correct?
So I've designed for over 65 biggest brands in the world. I've designed for Boss, Lacoste, Ralph Lauren, Kellogg's, Duracell. I've even worked alongside Warren Buffett. I've designed for the Queen, famous soccer players. I've designed their homes. So yeah, I'm actually a trained interior designer, really.
Wow, that's that's definitely a change in direction. So, what was your primary now? I mean, are you moved away from that sort of stuff? Are you mostly now focused in on things like consoles and controllers?
Yeah, because if you think 25 years of designing for brands around the world, stores, exhibitions, you name it, it's I'm kind of getting on a bit, 2 minutes, I just gotta take a drink.
No problem. Well, we're waiting for Pope to come back from taking a drink here because, yes, he's suffering with a bit of a scratchy throat this morning. Let's catch up with the super chats. Our amazing friend of the show, Doggy Dog, is here hot and heavy this morning. He drops $1.99, says, Happy New Year to all of my friends. Well, Happy New Year to you, Doggy Dog. We appreciate your support. You were certainly one of our best supporters in 2021, and we look forward to seeing you back for many episodes to come in 22. We got a good brother Fastback from the NLG podcast. He is here early this morning. Happy New Year to all. 2021 was great for gaming with friends and having this podcast every Sunday, looking better with Good Morning Xbox and Gaming. Yes, it's going to be a much better year, I think, overall. And for this channel, and most importantly, this podcast, well, one of the things I've recently done is I've upgraded to the subscription-based service of StreamYard, which means we no longer have to kick a panel member to the back corners of the universe to get our guests on. Everybody can stay in, and there's other features as well. I just haven't had the time to explore what those are, but I will certainly get there. Like some crazy people in the chat as well this morning. I see Assassin Lupa hanging out with us. Good to see you, Assassin, and thanks for everything. And obviously you've had a rough 2021, so wishing you much better in 2022. And the list goes on. So anyway, Pope, right back to you, my friend. You were saying?
I was just having a bit of a coughing fit. I've still got this dry cough. It's driving us crazy. Sorry, I'm COVID free. So yeah, I've designed for so many brands. I mean, some of the products you see in store could be like Head and Shoulders, Pantene, Pringles. Even when you go and buy fragrance bottles from Dolce & Gabbana and stuff, they're all things that I've designed many years ago. So you reach a point, I'm nearly in my 50s now. Where you're just not looking for an easy life, but you're just looking for, a life where you can just sort of tick along, and fan arts is definitely a hobby. So if you can make a career out of a hobby, and it's a good place to be, because it's not like work anymore. It just becomes an enjoyable thing to do.
Well, that's what they say, when you do something you love for a living, it feels like you never worked a day in your life.
Well, and that's exactly what it's like for me. I mean, I don't really have a typical 9-to-5 job. I just work when I wake up and I stop when I fall asleep. That's basically how I work.
Mm-hmm.
And because I work internationally, I'm working for Xbox teams in Australia. I'm working for Redmond. I'm working for the guys at NZXT in LA. So, when them guys are waking up, I've got to kind of still be around, really, to take on requests. So days for me are very long, they're not typically short.
So Pope,
but yeah.
Pope, how did you evolve then into, obviously you're a big gamer, and there's a passion for both things, and it was great you could combine them both. So how did this all transpire? I mean, like I said, we go way back when, so you were doing this for quite a few years now. Like this, the artwork and stuff that we see on consoles, and most of it is just digitally represented. I mean, now you actually have live products, including the controllers, like you said, the needler, and people have them in their hands, and it's amazing now actually seeing your work not just be on a screen that people share, but seeing it physically in people's hands, including that of 343 Industries. Some of their team has those controllers. So when did that evolution start, when you kind of started dabbling? I'm going to start throwing stuff on like your Xbox or your PlayStation or whatever it might be. How did that evolution come about?
I think it's fairly short, really, because I would say it started early last year, really, when I get a call from Square Enix, and I'm thinking, is this like a wind up, It's not every day you get a call from Square Enix, and it was like, we're going to launch this new game. It's called Outriders, and we want you to kind of work developing these controllers, and I was like, wow, this is pretty big, like,
Absolutely.
So I submitted some concepts, and this is the kind of the funniest thing. So I get this email back from Square Enix, and it just went, "Fuck me." Wow. I was like, kind of swear at the Pope. And it was just because I blew their minds, it was like they hadn't seen anything like this before. And I'm not trying to sort of be better than anybody else who also designs controllers, it's just I treat things differently to how other people might sort of do controller designs, even Xbox.
Oh. Well, let me stop you there, Pope. No, you pat yourself on the back, because I think everybody in this panel who's familiar with your work has said multiple times, why are you not working with these companies? Because when we see their designs come out and they basically, here's a new color, and then you're coming out and you're putting these designs on that people would gladly pay $200-300 easy. No, you're doing something right. Like you have made stuff that has blown minds. My mind's been blown so many times, and it's just, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you have this amazing, look for the certain design and blend great colors and schemes. It's just incredible. Like stuff like you did with the Cyberpunk stuff, and geez.
Yeah, well, I ended up working with the guys at Cyberpunk, and obviously Xbox were also working with them when they did the Johnny Silverhands, but they actually preferred my design better than Xbox, which is, and they were like, we want to work with you, Pope, but in the end of the day, and that's happened a few times, there's a couple of developers I've worked with, and they're like, yeah, we're working with Xbox, but yours is better. Come with. I was like, don't say that to them, don't. Honestly, I already upset a couple of people in Xbox internally. So,
hey, that's what it is, man.
And man. I mean, that's the whole story why Xbox Pope had to kind of die, But anyway, but I think one of the feedback is I do speak to the hardware team at Xbox privately. It's not like
Right.
it's them versus me. They are even people like Jason Rowland and Carl Ledbetter and that, they collect Pope controllers.
Mhm.
Like they have their own little personal little collection. And one of the stories Jason was telling us, when you see the Halo Elite controller and the Halo Series X, that was inspired by me in my fan art, because he was telling us the story was they actually pushed their team so hard to try and even come close to Pope level that's how you see them controllers now, but they've been pushed to their limits,
right?
Just so they could come close to anything that I've kind of produced,
Right.
But what you've got to remember is their process is totally different. They have more red tape than me. They have more things they need to consider because of production, because they're doing
Right.
better numbers,
Right.
So that's the only difference. It's not, and I did a while back, Xbox were telling us, we would love to make your controllers, but they're kind of impossible to make. And I was kind of, listen, nothing's impossible. It's just impossible because it hasn't been done yet,
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So I'm always, it's my job as a creative designer to always break rules. Like I always have to push boundaries. When I've worked with the likes of Dolce Gabbana or Boss, they have strict sort of
right. Well, there's nothing more frustrating than being an artist and being restricted by various guidelines. It's kind of, I imagine it's kind of like that for a lot of game developers who are sort of forced to make a game that, well, you got to go make the next version of this when they'd rather be making something new because it really stunts their creative vision, right?
Exactly. And I think a lot of so what I'm trying to explain is a lot of these people, like developers or even people Marcel or even Xbox, they might get criticized for not doing something a little bit better, but unfortunately it's just the red tape. There's a whole legal, there's a whole strict guidelines that just don't allow them to sort of push over that sort of thing. So one of the whole reasons why I probably don't work for Xbox is because the want is, I mean, Phil Spencer's desperate to get a hold of Pope on his books, but the problem is all that creativity that I've got then stops, because
well, you're totally right, because it's production too. You can make a great controller or console, but then if it's going to cost exponentially a lot in production design, that's a huge factor because it's not guaranteed to sell per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's easier for me to stay as I am. And I do work for Xbox, but if you think I got my last year, I got my Microsoft vendor certificate, and it was a funny story. Because obviously I'm good friends with Seamus Blackley, because he actually visits my hometown, and I was talking to him one day about it, and he was like, "Fuck me, man, Pope! Like you don't realize like that's the hardest thing anyone can achieve to get that certificate." And I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, like not everyone gets that fucker,
Damn.
And he says, so that's like the highest honor you could probably achieve in Microsoft as an individual, So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Then.
Well, let's let the panel get in with some questions. And also in the chat, if you do have a question for Pope, make sure you leave them. I can't guarantee we'll get to all of them, but we'll try our best. Let's get to the panel, and I'm sure they have some great questions for you as well. But before we do, let's catch up with the amazing chat. I see our good brother Dragon, Mr. Lemon, is in the house. What's going on, Lemon? Good to see you as well. Happy Cloud Gamer. Shane Tomlin here this morning. He's got a £5 super chat. Happy New Year, all. Is it true Mooch was full of crap? LOL, can't help myself. Hate the flip-flopper. Is going to be a great year for Xbox. Can't wait. Shane, I appreciate the super chat. However, like opinions like that on community members, I prefer people didn't super chat stuff about other content creators. How they go, that's up on them. I want to turn a new leaf this year by certainly keeping away from the drama. To each their own. You know, how you want to run your channel, the kind of content you want to do is up to you. I know how I'm going to run things is the way I've always run them. That's with integrity. And I will continue to do so. But anyway, Shane, I do appreciate that, brother. Thanks for your support. There we go. How about the panel? You guys have any particular, have you got some questions? I'm pretty sure somebody's on this panel's got some questions for Pope. Now's the time. Who wants to go first? Everybody got their mics muted or something?
No, they've got nothing to say. The thing is, when you were talking about certain podcasts and stuff like that, I think what sometimes the community also need to consider is we all kind of work with social media in a sense where it's possibly not really us. Like when you think about Pope, right? So I play the character of Pope, you know, but it's not technically me, you know?
Right.
So if you think like that comment about Mooch, you know, like he is who he is, but if you met him in real life, he's a super nice guy, like ultra. He's like the nicest person, you know. So and it's the same with Newf, you know. You have these things on social media, but if you speak to them privately or do a game night, super nice people, you know. So I think sometimes people need to also, you know, consider that about certain people on social media is just because of how they might talk or behave on social media doesn't necessarily mean
you
they're a
hear how
bad
nice
person,
Pope
you
sounds
know?
here, nice and calm and stuff. Get him in game. He will run at you and shoot you in the face.
If I came with you, like, I'll definitely take you out, like. And I mean, poor Lupa there, she gets a hard time on community game night, doesn't she? I mean,
but she's funny though.
Yeah,
and she's a great sport. We love her.
And I think that's kind of what you think. Like, it's funny because social media, because obviously I'm like super dyslexic, so reading and writing for me is a challenge, you know. So it's funny when you comment on something, they go, "Why are you being angry, Pope?" And I, fucking hell, man, I'm like I haven't got an angry bone in my body, you know. It's like if you knew as a person, like I'm not that way inclined. So like you're just reading it as angry.
Right.
Because you're probably used to, like, I don't know, dealing with like console wars and trolls and stuff, you know. So you just read everyone's comment as being harsh, you know, when really they're not.
Well, I think a lot gets taken out of context. I mean, I'm sure, Pope, you probably got a share of your hate for having amazing designs, and then people hating on you because for the longest time, as you said, you were known as Xbox Pope. So that affiliation alone probably got you a few nasty words sent your way, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but
he took so much grief when he changed his name. He really did.
And it was like, I mean, even Ed Boon was, you know, the Mortal Kombat guy. He was like, "Fuck me." There's a guy called Xbox Pope, right? And he's just done the best PlayStation sort of rap I've ever seen in my life, you know, like, and it's like, all right, cool. Like, there's an Xbox doing PlayStation. I thought, oh shit, I better change my name, you know. But no, I mean, the whole name change thing was an internal thing with Microsoft because you know I was doing what they didn't want is someone with the name of Xbox sort of tied in with that brand, you know. So, and you can understand that, you know.
Well, it would have looked totally weird, if all of a sudden you get commissioned to do PlayStation work and you're Xbox Pope. It would have been kind of like, eh?
So I thought I tried to do a play on two words, so it's obviously pop art as a form of art, and then obviously I kept the name Pope because everyone calls us Pope anyway, you know what I mean? And when I was doing Teams calls with the developers and stuff, you know, for the first time, and they kind of go, "Oh my god, it's Pope! It's really him!" It's like, you know, they're all like getting all fanboy and stuff, you know. I was like, fuck off, you're like Marvel, like fucking hell, man. Like not every day you get to speak to Marvel.
So hey man, you are a celeb and you do some amazing work. We got a question coming in for you, Pope, courtesy of Percolator 9000, who drops this one in the super chat, and he says, "How long does it take to design an item? And Happy New Year."
So I tend to have a 30-minute rule. So when I do fan art, I only spend 30 minutes on every single design. And it's because after 30 minutes, that's when you start to notice things like, oh, I best change this, or I best move this here, or I best move. Do you know what I mean? You start overthinking when the whole idea is the controllers are meant to happen organically. Like, because remember, it's a story, you know. And every controller I do, it has its own piece of music trapped inside of it. So it's the music that designs them, really. So if I attach, I don't know, something quite sort of a bit rock, let's say, then you would start seeing more aggressive shapes, bit more sort of bit more damage into them, a bit more sort of crazy artwork. Whilst if I put something quite sort of classical on or smooth, then it's going to be a lot more fluent, softer, a bit more cleaner. But they're generally all, you know, elements from a game, or and a lot of people have said in the past, oh well, it's just a copy and paste. Well, technically it has to be in some aspects, because if you didn't take assets from a game, as in copy, then it wouldn't be a representation of the game, if you know what I mean. So you have to kind of almost copy elements, because, you know, if you're going to do a Mass Effect controller and you don't use the logo, you don't use some of the textures and the body armors and stuff, then people go, well, what controller is that? Well, it's Mass Effect. No, it's not. You know what I mean? Because you're not using assets from the game, you know. So yeah, and one thing I've noticed over the years is there's two types of audience. You know, there's the people who kind of love the stuff I do, and then there's the hardcore gamers, you know, which these guys are hard to kind of get past if you put something wrong in there, you know, like a wrong colorway or a wrong sort of line. Well, that's not right. That's not the right symbol, you know. And you think, fucking hell, shit, man. I only did it. I only spent 30 minutes doing this thing, you know. Stop giving us a hard time. So yeah.
Let's get to the
But when I do production stuff, like real stuff, that can take days. Sometimes it can take months, you know, because I have to do more finalized artwork, you know. I have to do it's back and forwards to the legal teams. It has to go through creative directors, you know. So
right.
It's a more longer process.
Well, let's get to the panel. Let's find out who's got a question for you right here. So, how about her, guys?
I got a quick question, because
go ahead, Scrub.
I know Pope, you'll put a lot of stuff on Twitter, and you'll show off all your good designs. How do you go when you're dealing with a company? Do you just, as far as learning the process, do you just take that design, pass it off, and that's it? Or do they work back and forth with you until that final product is out to make sure it's the best it can be?
So generally what happens is, so I've just been recently working with EA on one that's not been revealed just yet. And so one thing that never happens is I never approach a company. They always approach me. And it's always a great honor, you know, to say, yeah, hell yeah, cool. And it generally starts where they just give me a brief, as in, this is the game. A bit like Outriders. Outriders is a bit easier because that's been revealed. So, you know, they might show me a couple of assets from the game, maybe a couple of the characters that are in there, and then I'll take that and I'll create a series of concepts. And this thing could be like at least 10 concepts, you know, and then I'll submit them to them. Then they'll go to their board team, and they'll either pick one or they'll merge certain elements from certain concepts into one, you know. But generally, the rule is they just let me play. There is no sort of person at their end saying, no, we need to do this, you know. It's generally just left to me to decide what the final looks like. Which is cool, like, because I mean, they could easily say, no, you got to listen to us, you know. It's our equity.
Right.
Yeah, I have a question. Yeah, I have a
Go ahead,
question, Pope.
Axel.
So now that you're older and you're well established, obviously you're influencing a lot of young artists. But when you were young and just getting started as PopeArt, what were what were your influences to start doing game graphic designs, like hardware designs and whatnot?
Do you know the one controller that I've always, and I've got one. So the one controller that inspired me to go like, no, there's more to this controller stuff than anything else. Like, is the Gears War Elite. I mean that thing has got so much detail on it, and so many little hidden Easter eggs. You know, like Rod Ferguson's thumbprint, and you know, you move the thumbstick, and there's like a little code in there, and there's this laser etching in there, and there's, you know, the whole thing was just mind blowing, you know. So when it come to the controller art, I kind of, that inspired me to push the stuff that I was doing, because I remember in the first instance it was more just graphically. And then if you notice some of the stuff I'm doing now, it's more, you know, embossing and drop shadows and cutting away. And then I'm also doing a lot more with 3D printing now. So there is a bit more relief to the controller. And obviously I get the criticisms of, well, that's uncomfortable, or that's going to hurt my hand. And I'm like, well, like, I don't give a shit, you know, because it's just a piece of art. Like, like, you either use it and play with it, or you just stick it on your wall. I mean, whatever you want to do, you know. It's just a piece of art. But one thing I've noticed, and it's cool that Pope is inspiring people, and I know he is, because I get stories behind the scenes that, you know, artists are like, oh my God, I've actually picked back up a pen again and started doing art just because you've inspired us to kind of work hard again. But one thing I love to say is people are like using my artwork as screensavers, or they're using it as phone thing. I've even seen people like print my work out and put posters on their gaming walls, you know, which is cool, you know, because I think it's not me. Like, I'll never work to prove a point. Like, I've done so many designs over my, you know, 30 years. Like, I could walk in any store, I can walk into any airport, and there's one of my designs, you know. But I don't go around pointing fingers at it and go, look, I designed this like 16 years ago, you know. I just do this in the hope that, one, it puts a smile on the face. Two, you know, it does inspire people to kind of work as hard as I did, you know. And I do make things look easy, but it's not easy, you know.
I do have a follow-up question, kind of. So you started doing I believe, selling the controllers on your website. Which one has been your most successful one, and were you surprised by it?
Well, obviously, when I first started, I did the little cyberpunk thing, because I was never really meant to make my work, you know. It was never really meant to be in people's hands. I just kind of dabbled a little bit this year, and you know, I can use Xbox to make my controllers, and you know, they'll be that super high quality. But the problem is, I would need to manufacture like 300,000. I ain't got the funds to purchase 300,000 controllers, you know.
Damn.
I mean, even when I did, what is it? When I did Outriders, or even the Game Pass, you know, when I did the Game Pass controllers for the staff, that was 600 controllers. Well, that's like $30,000 that I've got to pay to buy 600. Because you know, it's funny, isn't it? Like, so I have to buy the controllers to have them made. It's not like Microsoft just give us 600 controllers. Like, I've got to physically buy them first. Then I've got to ship them to a person to manufacture them, you know. So I have to pay them. I have to pay them import and export taxes, just like anybody else, you know. But the Needler is probably the most successful, I would say, and that kind of came out the blue because someone asked us to do a needler, and I was like, all right, cool. And I kind of spent 15 minutes making that design. So I just kind of mashed it together like really quick, and then like people start loving it, and I thought, okay, let's give it a shot. Let's just bang it on the store, and get it made. And it was a bit of a double-edged sword, really, because that ended up selling over like 3,000. I had to kind of manufacture 3,000 of them, but it's kind of hard trying to find a manufacturer that can be as equivalent to Xbox in production. And so some things stray, like textures aren't as good, or the quality strays. So that's been a big learning curve this year for me, trying to sort of get things made, and especially with COVID. Hardware was difficult to get. Like even now, I've got orders to do Series X consoles, but they're so difficult to get.
I'm just scrolling down through some of the ones. I saw the one, like I said, you did for Ricky Berwick, as you can see here on the screen. That was quite hilarious. His tongue wrapping around the controller.
His story was, I mean, yeah, he does some crazy videos, but what you got to imagine is this guy, all he's ever wanted in his life is his own controller. So I managed to fulfill his dream by, having that on the store, and people could buy it if they want to, and then even little Maggie Pig,
That's so cute.
Well, the story behind that one though is, this guy reached out to us, and he had just lost his little baby, his little baby daughter, and the last thing she had in her hand before she died was a little pig. So I created this pig controller, and it was all the money that were raised, making it, all my costs, all my design costs and everything, that all went into the charity. We never made a penny from it, but it all went to raise money for his little daughter's charity, and that,
That's awesome.
And even like some of the Halo inspired ones, I mean, yeah, I tried dabbling in some of the the vinyl skins, let's say, because I'm always conscious of cost of these things. I can't compete with Xbox and charge $60 for a controller. When I've got to pay $60 to buy the basic one.
Ooh, look at those skins right there. Damn.
And then obviously you've got to then pay someone to do it. You've got you've got factory costs, warehouse costs. You've got transport, and then even like sending to places like Canada and stuff like that. We have to pay taxes on all of that, So like you've got to sort of add that to the actual cost of a controller. But then also my design time, when I'm doing these, I don't charge any time for this. I don't make money from selling controllers,
right?
Because I'm trying to keep the cost down low, so people can at least have them in their hands,
Right.
So yeah, it's more of a passion thing than a let's make lots of money business.
Absolutely. But it's nice that you can make a little bit of money while you do it. Like I said, you turn it into sort of a little bit of a career kind of deal.
I mean, obviously, when I'm working with developers, there's a design cost. That's kind of like my little bit pocket money, let's say. But the things that I'm going to be doing next will hopefully make it possible to get Pope controllers a bit more easy, get the costs down. So that's the plan anyway,
Right.
But in the meantime, I'm just sort of still doing the fan arts. I'm enjoying working with the guys at NZXT, doing all the PC wraps. Well, I should say PC not wraps because they're actually technically done properly, you know. And it's great, you know. I managed to work with Warner Brothers on the Matrix. This year I've worked with Nickelodeon. I've worked with the Teenage Mutant Ninjas and SpongeBob. The start of the year I was working with Ubisoft, working with these 9 celebrities. I got the chance to work with Square Enix, and obviously those guys are coming back because they just love working with Pope. I was like, well, that's cool, you know. And I was working with the guys in Nacon over in Paris. And then obviously I had the job later this year working with Bethesda. And they let me loose with their Doom and Elder Scrolls brand.
Right.
So they're like massive fans. They want more stuff done. Who knows? There might be some Starfield. Let's see. Then there's the Butterfinger guys. They're like an awesome.
Yes, are you doing the Bart Simpson Butterfinger?
No, but I have just. They are going to sort of reveal some controllers that I've done for them.
Nice.
And then I did some work with Tic Tac where we sent something into space, like in a rocket. That was kind of cool. And then obviously, yeah, I've got some interesting partners coming into the new year. I don't know. I don't know if I can. It's kind of up to me who I say who I'm working with, you know.
Right.
But I don't know. I'll let these guys, because they're a multi-million-dollar company, so I'll let them reveal what's happening rather than me, you know. I'll not take the shine off them.
All right, let's get to another member of the chat. First of all, we got a super chat coming in from our good friend Splendiferous, $2. Have you turned this into an LLC for all platforms? There you go. He's got a question for you. Have you turned this into an LLC for all platforms?
What does that mean?
That's a great question.
LLC is a limited liability company.
Right.
It's a type of company.
Oh yeah, so the PopeArt now is now a company. So I do have like a partner who looks after it financially. I have the protection of like some Microsoft and all my other partners who look after me sort of legally. So that's probably why you see a difference to me more so on social media. I still try to keep it jokey because I think that, you know, that is a bit of me. But you'll probably be more aware that I'm a little bit more different on social media, and it's only because I'm being watched. You know, I'm constantly being monitored. Who and what I engage. And it's just a bit of that, you know, and you can understand I'm working with brands who you know, they've got a reputation in it and they're worth a lot of money, you know, so I can't be tarnishing them in, you know, being PopeArt the troll, you know. So
I hope you won't get in any trouble by doing a podcast with Newf Nukem, will you?
No, it's honestly
it's not gaming after dark, as long as it's not.
It's no, they understand. I mean, well, I was in this Zoom meeting with this big, huge CEO that before Christmas, and I didn't even know he was the CEO of this company. You know, and I'm just dicking about, you know, joking on, and then I found out like, shit, you're the boss of the company. He's like, yeah. I was like, oops. And he's like, he says, no. He says, we totally love like how just your whole mannerism, how you just joke about, how you kind of, you know, just sort of you're so chill with life, you know. And he says that's a good quality. He says, and that's what that's what we're buying into, really. So that's kind of cool, you know. But yeah, it's definitely a journey. I mean, I even had I tell you, I had Netflix want to do a documentary on Pope, and I was like, and they're like, yeah, we'll send a film crew around your house and all that, and I was like, fuck off, and they're like, yeah, I was like, nah. Anyway, I turned it down because I was just like, nah, it's not what I'm looking for, you know. I quite like just to hide in the shadows a little bit. I'm not after fame and fortune and stuff like that. I'm just happy to plotter on, have a bit of fun.
Unfortunately, whether you like it or not, you know, when you become, get some notoriety with this stuff, and like I said, I think through the gaming community that most people that follow this stuff, to a certain level, like I think they're pretty well familiar with most of your stuff. I'm just curious. Let's just ask the panel: how many people have heard of this gentleman here that we're interviewing today prior to this show? Just curious.
I have.
Oh, yeah, I definitely have. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I have.
It was funny. I'll tell you this little story. I'm full of stories, mate, because it's just what the bizarre shit that goes on behind the scenes, you know.
Right.
So there was this kid, this guy I know, and he's like, oh, I was speaking to the guys at Scuff, you know, and I didn't reveal your name of like who I was speaking to, and they're like, oh, there's this awesome guy, and he does this crazy art on stuff. I was like, oh yeah, and like, so who is he? And he went, it's PopeArt. He went, fuck off, you know PopeArt? He's like, he's a fucking legend, him. And I'm thinking, like, this is the people at Scuff, you know, and I'm thinking, oh god. Honestly,
So let me ask you this, Pope.
Get my name everywhere.
How do you feel? I mean, I think I got an idea how you feel, but obviously during this process and over the past few years, you also blatantly seen people sort of knock off your ideas, sort of steal your stuff, or use your art in various ways without, even coming forward to saying, can you use it? I mean, how does that make you feel? Because it's got to be very frustrating.
Do you know what it was? Because obviously I don't notice it half the time. It's people, it's the community that tell us. They go, "Oh, Pope, someone's like made this and all that," and it's generally either China or Brazil, right?
Right.
They're the two people that kind of thing. So what I started doing, and this is probably why you see the crazy designs I do, is because what I started doing is I thought, right, I'm gonna fuck you up big style this time. I started making my designs even more difficult, so they couldn't recreate it physically because it was too difficult to make.
Right.
Because there was too much detail in there. There was too much information for them to thingy. But then what happened is then I started creating these crazy designs, and I had a tutor many years ago, and he says you should never look at someone who's copying your work as in copying.
Right.
Just look at it as that you inspire them, So I tend not to take any great offense to people copying my work or taking it as their own, because unfortunately for them, it always comes back to someone knows that's a Pope design. I mean, when Xbox revealed some of the designs I was doing, people knew straight away that's a Pope design. That's a Pope design. It's just got this kind of. He's already got this identification of how he does things.
So do you have to put some sort of is there some sort of authentication to the process then? Because what if somebody tried to take your work, tried to basically sell it, and then all of a sudden basically come back at you and say, oh, this Pope guy stole my design? That kind of, because it could happen, right?
Oh, it can do, but then there's this great thing in copyright is I've got the paper trail, because obviously I've got, when I created the files, they're stamp dated within my hardware.
Okay.
So it's funny because copyright is a funny law. Even some of the stuff I do for Halo, I could easily manufacture. And Halo couldn't do a single thing about it because I've only got to technically change 3 things, and that's it, But then also copyright belongs to everybody. Everyone's got the rights to copyright. And all it is just a date stamp thing. So if you were the first to say something, or the first to write something, or the first to draw something, then you own that copyright by law. And that's a worldwide thing. It's not like limited to your own country, you know. And that's why you'll probably see a lot of my designs probably do annoy Xbox a lot, because then they can't copy what I've done, you know.
Yo, before we forget, hey, Cerebral Paul, you're good buddies in the chat.
Yeah, I know. He's been there for like an hour. I've been waiting for a chance to say, "Good morning, Joe Dunmore."
Better late than never.
It's funny, I've just seen something in your chat there. Something from is it Fastback? What's my views on NFTs? Well, there's something in Pope with NFTs is actually going to happen, but I can't really tell you what it is.
You're doing NFTs now?
That's not what he said. That's not what he said.
Well, thing is, I got approached about NFTs a few years ago, even when people were like, "What the fucking hell is this NFTs?" You know. But there's something that's going to be revealed, let's say, with somebody and Pope. Yeah, and it does involve NFTs. So yeah, I'm already in the system, let's say.
Nice.
But how this deal works is I'm technically one of the first to be officially on the pedestal, let's say, of the NFT world. Like, let's say, you know, I'm already kind of like escalated to the top level. But and all the NFTs are done. It's just they haven't been revealed yet, you know. You're gonna see a lot of Pope NFT stuff.
Gotcha.
So do you know where they're gonna distribute it? Because like this Christmas, I got a Quest 2, and in the Quest 2, you can go into this app they have where you can see NFTs and purchase them if you want. It's like an NFT art gallery.
Yeah.
And
well, the company who I've signed up are like a very, very big name, and they will reveal it in their own time. It was going to get revealed in November, but they're just not quite ready yet. So they did say end of December, but they're obviously still not ready. But I'm just leaving it to them, you know. So yeah, you'll actually be able to own Pope NFTs before long, and then God knows where that takes us. And they're talking about having a 50 million audience on Pope. So like Pope's going on some crazy adventures, let's say, you know.
Wow, nice.
That's cool.
And that's just one of a few things I've got in the pipeline, you know.
Can't wait. Let's get over to our panel before we bring Coolcat Terri in with her indie spotlight for today. So any more questions from our panel, or perhaps one or two from the chat? We'll take a couple more questions here, and then we're going to move it right along, and we'll get into some of our topics as well. So have at her. I think Paul, Terri, who else didn't have a chance to ask a question? I think that's it, right? Paul and Terri, any questions for Pope?
He's answered most of my questions, and so
you guys just want a Pope design each. That's what the question is, isn't it?
I know that's my question.
Well, do you know what it is? No, the silly thing is I have lists. Obviously, I have shared sometimes my lists, but all you've got to do, you know, to get a Pope design really is just ask. You know, I don't. It might not happen overnight, but
yeah,
you know, when I do sort of have downtime within jobs, I'll sort of, you know, quickly do a fan art, and then I'll just surprise you one day with it, you know.
He did two incredible ones for me. He did one with I think it was when Rise of the Tomb Raider came out. He did an amazing Tomb Raider artwork for me on an Xbox One X, I think, or the One S, I think it was at the time. And you also did a really cool one, like a Edmonton Oilers NHL design on a Series X for me as well, which, like I said, I still have them. I was trying to share it so people could see it on the screen, but unfortunately I can't flip over and show a JPEG because I have to go to my desktop and I can't do that apparently. At least I don't know how to do it at the moment. So,
and I mean, generally 9 times out of 10, it's up to you guys what you want to do with that. You know, whether you want it made, I can put you in touch with people who can make them. But I don't get involved in the manufacturing process best I can. You know.
Right.
I just kind of link you to whoever. Like one of the executives at Halo commissioned me over Christmas to do some special art for their kids for Christmas. So they've actually got 2 of my art pieces and the physical controllers to that art. So yeah, you know, I do private commissions behind the scenes. It's just it just depends on what it is that needs made, really, and produced. But
gotcha.
Normally it's just fan art. You know, I'll just quickly create a bit of fan art.
Nice.
Gotcha.
All right, I'll keep that in mind before I ask. So, like, what do I want?
Yeah, just give us some little pointers. You know, it could be just a little bit of inspiration. I don't know, your favorite game or something, or I don't know,
There you go. You can kind of see it behind my head. There's a look at the.
Or you like the color blue or something. I don't know. And then normally you just tell us what hardware you want, because you can imagine I do everything in 3D. So I've got 3D models of all the Xbox products, PCs, PlayStations, Nintendos.
You should do a Game Boy, just for fun.
Right now, I'm thinking the Sega Genesis Model 1.
I would probably have to build models for them once. So yeah, that's how the process starts. It's you know, I have a 3D model. I create the texture files for that model, and then I'll wrap it on, then I'll render it, and then I'll drag it back into Photoshop, and I'll sort of put a bit of sprinkle enhancement on it a little bit, you know, just clean a couple of things up, and then I post it, and it's as simple as that.
Splendiferous coming back with the $2 super chat, and he has a question for you. How long does it take to do a controller versus a console?
Well, obviously, what physical, like in real life or as an art?
It's probably just a regular design, which I would imagine are fairly quickly from a concept, but actually doing one is probably, like, physically, it's probably a lot longer.
The process is about 6 weeks to physically make one, and what a lot of people don't realize with the controllers, it's there's a lot of dead zones on a controller that you can't, like, really, you're not really meant to touch, you know, just because the angles of the controller create distortion. So you have to be kind of careful where you put things on a controller. One of my pet hates when I see people do controller designs is they'll whack a big huge logo on there or something, and like it's cropped into it. Like the worst one I've probably seen was by Xbox is the is it the Tune Squad thing? That friggin' Mickey Mouse, not Mickey Mouse.
Yes, it's the Space Jam one.
Aye, and they just like got the word Tune Squad, right, and then they've just sort of squashed this logo, and it kind of cuts into the D-pad, it cuts into the thing. It just like why do that? You know, when like you're just sort of damaging the logo, you know. And I think some people when they create controller designs is they don't consider placement. Like, you know, where's your palm of your hand going to be? Where's your thumb going to be? Where's your and all these things are getting sort of hidden. Or so like when I do a design, I'll deliberately angle things in such a way that I know the palm of your hand's going to be there, so that part may become a grip, or the line that goes up from where your thumb is telling you to press the A button, and then the A button's telling you you need to go along this little path of the journey, and it becomes the D-pad. You know, it's all these little things I'm considering as I'm doing this within 30 minutes. You know, it's all about the journey. It's the journey on the controller that I'm doing.
Pope, you had nothing to do with the amazing Gears of War 5 custom Xbox One X, did you?
No.
Because when that console first came out, I was like, this looks like something that Pope would have designed, because it was the first time that I was really blown away in a few years by like a custom console that just nailed it in all the right aspects.
I mean, one of the things like I had said about the Halo Elite controller is Microsoft are constantly watching what I post, like constantly. Right. So they are inspired. Like I do inspire their team internally. So when they see stuff that I do, they'll kind of like not copy it, but it'll spur them on to try something different, try something new. I mean, next year. I mean, so I keep saying next year, but it's this year. I'm going to start venturing down a lot of like 3D printing. So I'm gonna actually 3D print like whole controllers, but they're trapped inside the piece of art. So like you would sell that as a one piece, just as just a different sort of medium, really, just to enjoy. And then the plus also it stops people saying, I mean, controllers broke. Do you know like some of the problems I have, right? They'll go me D button or my A button's not working on your PopeArt controller. Well, like that's not a me problem. That's a Microsoft problem, because I buy them from Microsoft. So like if their buttons aren't working, then that's like I don't know. They probably made a shit controller. I don't know.
Gotcha. All right. We're gonna get ready to wrap up this portion here in just who's left to have a question. Terry, you still got any questions? Are you good or?
No, I don't have any questions. I'm good.
No questions from Terry. All right. Any further comments or questions on this?
One last one. Is there a special studio that you would like to create art? Like you will have so many of them. Yeah. You pretty much say, you know what, I'll create anything, but there's always one particular studio that you would like to pretty much like go all out and say, you know what, I guess they like it. Here's my offering plate, just to, so you could get paid for your work. But is there a specific?
I don't studio? Because you'll be surprised, right? But there's a lot of stuff that you guys in the community don't see. Like I had what was it? Oh, the Destiny. So I did the Destiny stuff, and I mean my work is like riddled inside that building. It's they're so desperate to make something. The guys at Destiny who made designs, but again, it's just having to go through the cogs of like higher management and all that kind of stuff. So that would be a nice one. I would like to work with the guys over there. And then obviously I would love to sort of do some more work with the guys at Cyberpunk, because I think although that game's had a lot of stick and a lot of sort of not so nice sort of things said, what you got to remember is I kind of talk to these people more on a personal level. So they're just truly amazing people. They're really nice, proper, do anything for you. So I would love to sort of help them guys out, support them a bit more. But one thing I really do love doing, and I'm only going to say this on the show, so if people do need that support, is I love to support small streamers. I love to support small YouTubers. Whatever it is, if you're small, I want to make it become bigger. Just because I get more delight out of that. I had a game developer, and it took them 2 years to find they were trying for 2 years to find a publisher, to publish a game. And I found this out, and I was like, give us 10 minutes. And they're like, all right, yeah. So in 10 minutes, I had them all hooked up, ready to go. And that's it. That game's now live, and it's like, I've got a lot of sort of behind the scenes contacts that I can sort of help with, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's not about sort of being boastful, or, you know, it's more, I've helped somebody make a difference, or, you know what I mean, I've helped them on their journey.
Well, people forget that we all start in the same place. We all start with, you know, one subscriber and those first steps, and it grows. And for some people, the growth is amazingly fast. Some people, it's a trudge. But you know, we all kind of in the same boat. We're all gamers at the end of the day. We all do this largely like you with your art. Is it stems out of a passion for gaming, and it just blossoms into something that's entirely different, you know. So it's crazy. Pope, I want to ask you one thing before we get to Terri. I know she's getting in here with her indie, and this is a great reason why we have Terri in the indie spotlight, because she picks out some great games that perhaps didn't get the love they deserved or were overlooked. We do that all the time with indie games. You kind of look at them and go, yeah, that game looks cool. Then, you know, 2 or 3 years later, you're like, oh yeah, I didn't even play that. And then she brings them up and we're like, man, I've already tried a couple of those games thanks to her suggestion. So that's what we do here in this podcast, is we like, you know, and last week we had a great developer come on, Josh Glavin. Josh, if you are listening to this show, again, thank you for that. Well, not last week, this was 2 weeks ago before we took a break, but that was a great little one. Grim Dawn was the game that he developed, and it was a great little interview we had with him. But Pope, my question for you is, outside of your own work, what is one particular perhaps controller or console design that you've seen that you went, damn, that really good? Like, because the one that sticks out to me was I think it was the Sekiro Xbox that somebody did a few years ago for a giveaway, and that thing was absolutely nuts. It had like a ninja sword on the top, or a katana, and
made out of wood and all that.
Oh, that one was pretty cool. How about you, man? Is there anything that sticks out to you that you kind of go, wow?
I mean, I do see a lot of other designs. Again, I probably would just say I would have to stick to the one that's inspired me, and that would be the Gears of War. The original sort of Gears of War,
the red one, yep.
Elite, you know, just because it has more meaning to me. It's not like anybody else's isn't good enough. It's the fact we're all different, you know. Like you say, this the one that you were just talking about there, you know, that's more three-dimensional. It's more almost model making, you know. And that's cool. Unfortunately, I don't get commissions like that, because obviously mine's more graphically based rather than, you know, creating more structural, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I'll probably just say that. But going back to your thing about the indie games, I'm a huge, massive indie game supporter, because I just love the stories. Like, this guy in his bedroom just created this game, you know, and then, like, I don't know, it's just like this awesome game. Like, and I love that side of gaming, that, you know, someone's putting their whole sort of personal soul into something, and seeing them struggle and getting over all these big, huge legal hurdles is a challenge for them, you know. So I think us as a community, where we can support them and help them,
gotcha,
that's like super important to me, you know.
Nice. Scrub, are you with us for the entire show today, or do you still have to go to work?
Yeah, I have to go at 10, so we're good right now.
Good for a little bit? Okay,
yeah,
because I want to get everybody in on our thoughts on our different topics as well. Pope, as well, how's your time? Do you want to stay till the end of the show, or would you, if you want to get out of here?
No, I'm fine. I'll stay for the laughs and giggles.
Okay, because we will ask you some of the same questions we're going to ask the panel. But anyway, we want to thank you for that amazing interview, Pope. And again, I will have the links and stuff for you. They're in the chat description on the YouTube channel, so make sure you go and check it out. I will also display it before the end of the show for those of you looking to catch up or perhaps purchase some of PopeArt's amazing work. We'll have that for you shortly. But let's get to Coolcat Terri with the Indie Spotlight. I always pop this on her as a surprise. All right.
Terri needs like a heavy metal intro. for this.
So before I go in, I have to share it real quick.
Yeah.
Do a fan design for me. So thank you for that. It turned out fantastic.
Look at that.
There you go.
Oh, do you know this? I do so many, I can't remember who I've done them for, man. So I actually did you one.
Yeah, you did one for me, and it was great because you totally surprised me because you just did a random tweet and you were like, "Yo, is anybody interested in design?" I was just like, I waved my hand, and then you just went and made one without me having to give you any information. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I kind of I have a habit of doing that actually. I don't know. It's nice though, isn't it? Because I think, like you just said there, it's that lovely surprise. That lovely. Oh my God, he did actually think about me. And I think that's quite special ability to have, as an artist, that you can sort of be this close with the community, rather than just sort of like a lot of people say to me, "Oh, you're like this celeb pope, or you're like, I don't know, famous or whatever it is." I say, but I really don't. I don't say it myself, I'm just a normal guy, just having fun, and it doesn't matter how big I'll grow or how further my work goes. I'll always be the same guy, and I'll just talk to anybody, I just love to talk, and help people grow. So if you've got a small little business and you need a bit of support, then just come my way, and I'll support you.
We hope that more people get to explore your work as well by being on podcasts like this, and sometimes it's a mutual benefit, right?
I did that with trees, and I mean, I know they're getting a bit of stick at the minute because oh no, it's a sticker or whatever they say, but I mean, that's run by a young female person who's just trying to dabble in the gaming world. She's not a 100% gamer. But she's trying to make an effort into making controllers become real. And she's working out of Florida. She's originally from the UK, so she's technically in a foreign world, trying to sort of make controllers become real. And she's also learning. She got like death threats from the needler and stuff like that because things weren't perfect. But hey, when you look at if you look back at the power on Xbox did, even Xbox get it wrong. All these big, huge names, they also, when I'm trying to make things become real, also get it wrong. So even as a small business, just trying to learn and develop and grow, we also make mistakes, and I think sometimes people need to consider that we're not a multi-million-dollar company trying to like make a huge amount of money. We're just doing this for pure passion, pure love. So I mean, I did put a tweet out for Lily, who obviously for treason. So if you guys want to reach out to her and get her on the show, I think it would do her wonders to sort of tell her story. It's not easy making controllers. I thought it was. I really did. I thought it was the easiest thing you could do, and it's not. It's the hardest thing you can ever do, is making controllers come to life. It's so difficult. So for her to do that, you've got to take your hat off to her, like, and not send her freaking death threats.
No doubt. All right, well, thanks for that, Pope, and that was an awesome bit of work you did there for Coolcat Terri. You got your indie spotlight ready to roll?
I'm ready. All right, everybody. So I'm going to show you a game called The Journey Down. Now, it's an episodic point-and-click game, so I don't want to show 3 trailers, so I'm just I'm going to skip through a little bit so that we kind of get a gist for each episode and not have to sit through 3 trailers. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's why you're going to see me kind of just randomly skipping ahead, because it'll take way too long to do 3 trailers. Holler if you can't hear it, because I'm trying something different. And it refreshed. There we go.
No, it sounds good.
Come on now, Professor. We know you're in there. Our boss needs that book of yours, and he needs it now. Oops.
Kid, you gotta be careful even mentioning its name. Ask too many questions and you disappear.
I don't do charity. I don't make exceptions. I make examples.
Skipping somewhere to like the second episode.
Dame shows up. Some hothead from topside. That dame and that clown of a pilot. They started tearing up the pass like there was no tomorrow. The game charged them back at me like a freight train on eel fumes. And it hit me. It hit me bad.
Then we'll just jump real quick to the third one real fast.
The team is brought together.
Now we're talking big business. Come on, chicken, you got nothing on Pablo.
What kind of nut jobs are you hanging out with, man?
To stop the evils of the Armando Power Company.
He's saying the power company is going to turn the entire city into a bowl of smoked beef jerky by the night.
An adventure that spans from the ancient temples of a bygone age
Absolutely beautiful up there.
to the untamed savanna of the Underland.
Is this a game? I was thinking the same thing for a second. Wow. Getting bizarre.
Oh, what a blast! An epic adventure game saga, 7 years in the making, comes to a conclusion in the third and final chapter of The Journey Down.
All right, so that's the quick synopsis of the 3 different episodes. So it's a point-and-click game, very similar in style to Grim Fandango. So for those of you who have played Grim Fandango before, you already know what to expect. It's very well done. It's got an Afro-Caribbean themes throughout all of them. So it's very, it's new, and it's great to see that because you don't really see too much of that in games. So you can go check that out. And it's also done by Sky Goblin, which is another Swedish studio. Like I feel like the Swedes, they make all the best indies, I tell you. But so you got that, and then it's on PC, it's on Xbox, it's on PlayStation, it's on the Switch, it's all over the place. I think even iPhone has a version of the game. You go ahead and check it out. You can on Xbox, I know for sure you can't just buy them individually. You have to buy the whole bundle, which will be $40 for all 3 things. So technically, you're getting Chapter 1 free, because they're like $20 for individually for Chapter 2 and 3, and Chapter 1 is $7. So if you buy the bundle, you're getting the first one free. They're just coming out. So it's a good deal. The PC version on Steam, I think Chapter 1 is just free. You can just play it and then buy the other 2 separately. And then I don't know how PlayStation and Switch does it. I think they probably do just the full bundle as well. So go ahead and check it out. It's a fantastic game. I had a lot of fun playing it. And yeah, so basically you have the main character, and he's a pilot who's trying to, just trying to make money. Kind of think of like, Disney's Tailspin. You had, like the pilot just trying to make money and somehow manages to get in all the trouble. That's pretty much what's going, it's pretty much what's going down in this, man. So yeah, it's a pilot who's just trying to get down, and then he's just all the trouble. You have mobsters and, corporate bad corporate stuff. I can't think of the right word right now. Conspiracies, corporate conspiracies, and there's puzzles, and it's a good action adventure point and click. A lot of good fun.
Okay.
Definitely check it out. It's definitely one that the devs put a lot of time into, and like they said on the part for chapter 3, it took them 7 years to get all 3 parts done. So it's definitely worth giving it some attention for sure.
Nice. Well, thanks again for that indie spotlight from Terry. Go check that out, guys. All right, we got some topics before we close out the show today. I don't want to keep everybody here too long, but hey, it is good to be back in the saddle. Amazing chat going again this morning. Thank you for being here. I see our good friend UK Dazzer is hanging out with us as well, so it's always good to see him in the chat. Hope everything is going well, Dazzy. Well, let's talk about some of the topics. This one is sort of making some rounds, and that is the potential of Goldeneye 007 coming back, whether that is going to be in the form of a remake, which tends to be extremely popular these days, or perhaps it's just an up-resed and improved version of the N64 classic that we know and love. True achievements. I'm going to try to share the story here with you that Shaddai, I think, shared with us in the private chat. So
I did. Thank
you.
you.
Paul,
give
sorry,
Shaddai
Paul.
Credit for what I did.
All right, let's share the screen here. Paul's real bitter this morning. Let's go. Here you go. So there's the article itself, where Paul shared it from. So again, raises lots of questions. So we'll start with you, Paul, since you brought the article to our attention. What do you think is happening here? Do you believe it's coming back? And if so, are you excited for it?
I think it's coming back, and I am excited for it. Well, it kind of depends on what they do, because I doubt, because it was originally on the N64, it would look like absolute crap if you tried to, if you just basically did I think it's got to be a remake, not just a remaster. Totally different systems, a lot more they can do here. Also, this brought into question with me, back in 2020, we have announced that IO Interactive is working on a 007 game, and they gave us no information. And now supposedly we have achievements that have now been dropped, so we know something is coming. I'm wondering if the two are related, if this is the game that IO is working on. So
interesting.
That's
I'm hearing links that Rare might be working on this actually.
Well, Rare. The link I found, because it was and we know that Rare's working on one, so is IO, but we don't have a lot of information on either.
Right.
I
think people would love to see Rare behind it, though, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Since they were the originators, even though probably a lot of the people that made the game are not even at the studio anymore. But
right, I was gonna say the game is 25 years old or whatever it is at this point. So yeah, a lot of the so it would be almost in company name only that it would be related.
The funny thing is, though, they made a remake already, and they put Daniel Craig in the game, and they changed it, and it seemed like nobody really bought that one. So this is what kind of concerning.
Crap. It was because the biggest worry I'm seeing is, well, they need to change the control scheme. I would hope so. I mean, given that controllers are so different now, and the way we do things are so different now, that they wouldn't go back to let's strictly bring it up the way it was, because that would be painful, truly painful. So I like the idea of IO Interactive doing it, because it would become almost more of a stealth game, which to me GoldenEye always kind of was. Even though it had the split screen 4-player thing going, it was always kind of a sneak around and do your James Bond thing. And it was movie driven. That's the interesting to me, is what this game, the story was driven by the movie. A lot of people, now that we're 30 years out, have not seen the movie. I know, as strange as that may sound for those of us who are Bond fans, but it's true. A lot of you say GoldenEye, and they go, "Oh, that's the game, right?" And you go, "It was based on a movie." It was. Yes, it was. I think the mistake is, just trying to plug Daniel Craig into a Pierce Brosnan game was not the right thing to do. It was almost lazy from a standpoint. They were trying to make a quick buck, basically, and I hope they steer away from that. So that's where I'm at. I'm looking forward to it, and if we have 2 James Bond games coming out, that's even more the better. we know there's going to be more Bond movies coming out. They're basically going to be relaunching the franchise again, which is cool. Um, and if you haven't seen the latest Bond movie, no spoilers, but yeah. So there you go. So
Okay.
that's where I'm at.
All right, Scrub Nurse. What's your take on this? I want to get you in here because you may have to take off shortly. So
Yeah. What I have to say about it is, if it is not a complete remake, it's a waste of time for me. Only because I say this, lots of folks have played Goldeneye, and we have lots of fond memories about Goldeneye. The only problem is if you go back and play the game compared to the graphics, the controls, and everything that we have now, uh, it's not going to be fun. Everybody gets those member berries and nostalgia is a drug and all those great sayings. You go back and play some of these games. Yeah, you might have fun for somebody who's played it already, but for somebody who has not, it's a little different. Um, what I would say is, I mean, for example, use Doom. If Doom came back and had the same graphics and said, we're bringing back Doom, it wouldn't be a hit as it is now. They totally redid the game. Uh, they still had the same elements of Doom: move fast, kill, uh, get your power ups, get your more ammo by how you kill, and everybody loves it. If they can take GoldenEye, like we said, change the controls. Let's get better graphics with what we have. Yes, make it stealth. um, I think you'll have, and then possibly add a multiplayer, kind of like you had before. I think they'll have a hit because, like you said, you'll have so many people with the nostalgia hyping up the game, and then for all the people who have never played it, with all that hype coming together, they might want to try to check it out, and then you got a marriage of something that could be good. So, if you're having achievements and all you're doing is bringing the same game and saying, "Oh, we're going to take these same assets and put them to 4K," I think you're going to do a big disservice to it. So, hopefully, what I'm asking for is a remake and see what they can do with it.
If I remember right, I glanced at the achievement list, and I believe there were some multiplayer achievements in there. So
yes, there were multiplayer achievements in it. I did see that. But yeah, they're definitely gonna have to remake it because I enjoy Doom the games now. I've played the original Doom on PC, on Xbox 360. I loved it, but it was not as fun as I thought when I first played as a little kid and just loved it to death. It's not the same. It's just like trying to get a younger generation to enjoy an old black and white movie from the 40s and trying to convince them how great it is. Unless they like truly fall in love with black and white movies, they're like, I don't want to watch this old thing. So hopefully they'll come out with something good.
Nice. Who else wants to chime in on the potential of Goldeneye coming back? I think Scrub summed it up perfectly. So who else wants to chime in on this? Hello.
I got nothing, man. I'm not excited for this remake at all. So I got nothing.
Yeah, me either.
I understand.
Yeah, there's a lot of FPS lately, and it might be overshadowed by whatever other game might release during this year or maybe next. So I don't know about that one.
Well, I think if it's an Xbox exclusive and it comes to Game Pass, I think it's just going to be more fantastic content. It's probably something that, if they remake it, it probably wouldn't require, especially if they're kind of doing a direct remake where they're just rebuilding the levels and the assets, it probably wouldn't take them as long as, per se, from the bottom to the top kind of up. I don't know. I just would think it would be shorter because over the first GoldenEye game wasn't excessively long. I mean, back in the day, it probably felt long, but that was on the N64. So by today's standards, I mean, probably the original GoldenEye took us guys, 4 hours to beat, maybe at best.
Kind of like
that's at best. Yes.
It wasn't the story that drove the original game. It was the split screen multiplayer.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you build that again. Like I said, you just remake the graphics, you add the dual stick control, and there you go. You've got a game that kind of hits the nostalgia bug, but keeps it authentic enough that the old school players can like it. Because, like I said, when they remade that the game a few years back on the Wii or whatever it was, or the Wii U 360 era, and they added Daniel Craig, like Cerebral Paul, to kind of a cash in on the Bond popularity, which, you know, they kept a lot of the levels very similar, but there was too many changes to kind of make it a direct remake. And then adding Daniel Craig almost made no sense, other than, again, he was the current Bond. So there was a lot of missteps with that particular version. And hopefully now, like I said, especially if Rare is behind it, they can bring back some of that magic. And if it goes to Game Pass, well, it's going to be a super bonus. And I can see lots of people at least dabbling in it. Whether they continue to play it for a long period of time, probably not, because, like you said, Scrub, people don't. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, but it wears off quickly.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
that is the thing. So
increase those
like
polygons.
If they manage to somehow tie it into the new movie, which will be out in 2 or 3 years probably, then maybe it'll stir up some interest, because we don't even know who the new Bond is going to be. Which Bond is going to be in this game? Which, is it going to be a direct takeoff of the original Goldeneye movie, which was a great movie, which made it for a great story in the game too. They did a great job with that even back then. But yeah, it really depends on what direction they're going to go with it. It really does. I mean, we don't have a lot of information. But one thing I like about the idea of IO doing it, that will make it a stealth game. They're the company that did Agent 47. What's his name? So
Hitman. Yeah,
Hitman. Yeah, and stealth. That's what they do. And a lot of people tell you Hitman looks like a James Bond game. It plays like what should be a James Bond game.
That's correct.
Yeah. I'd like to see it more action oriented though, but then I guess the new Hitmans are kind of action oriented to a degree.
Right. Well, yeah, and James Bond is a mixture of the two. You have the stealthy side, then you have the jumping off the dam and running down the side of the dam side. So, and if they, hopefully, I mean, as much as it was fun to watch, I don't want James Bond doing parkour in a game, because that would drive me crazy probably. But,
Hey, we just need more of those romantic scenes, Paul. James Bond is good with the ladies.
Bond, yeah, we don't need that.
There you go.
Leisure Suite Bond.
we just need James Bond and company to come out of the water in super slow motion. Lots of lens flares and glitters.
Yeah. Weren't they really tight bathing suit and putting on the old Ursula Andrews look? Yeah.
Look at Shaddai down there all excited, huh?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Any further thoughts? Anybody want to jump in on the whole Goldeneye thing, or shall we just kind of wrap that topic?
Pretty much wrap it. I kind of pretty much just agreed with what Scrub had to say. It's one of those things. If they just port it over, kind of like a Rare Replay kind of port, I feel like it's not going to do anything. No one's going to care. So they have to do a really good job with it. And then also, I never associate GoldenEye as a stealth game. It's always been kind of run and gun, of explosions.
Yeah, especially because of the multiplayer. Yeah,
it was always a run and gun.
More because of the multiplayer. Yeah,
right. Slappers.
But even in the campaign, you didn't do.
That's
stealth.
right.
You just ran in there and shot everything and threw a bunch of grenades.
I'm very surprised that wasn't included in Rare Replay, like you said. I'm very surprised.
It could be a licensing thing, because they're very tight on that James Bond license.
Yep, it's been licensing for a long time. Not to mention you got to actors, the likenesses and all that stuff. Because MGM had when they had all that transfer stuff between Sony and everything too. I think at one point.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's a lot of red tape when it comes to MGM and the whole James Bond license. That's for sure. So, yeah. Okay. Well, let's obviously it's 2022. This is going to be a big year for gaming. I think this is the year where we see a glut of games sort of hit us all at one time, because we've seen a lot of delays that games that were supposed to be out last year are now shifted to 2022, which means hopefully they're nearing final completion, getting in those final stages, and all the better. If they can start bringing out a lot less broken games in 2022, every one of us are all for that. But we know how that goes. So anyway, I would like to ask everyone, we'll start off with our esteemed guest, Mr. Pope or PopeArt or PopeArt, whichever you want to call him. Pope, what are you most excited for in 2022? And would you care to make any bold predictions about things you think we might see?
I'm kind of in the Starfield camp, like, you know,
Mhm.
but then, you know, is it one of those where it becomes the cyberpunk hype thing again? You know, where everyone's so hyped
Right.
about this game, and then it gets released, and then everyone gets disheartened, you know. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think I'm definitely sort of on the Starfield camp for me.
Gotcha. So Starfield for you is definitely what you're looking forward to. And how about any bold prediction? Do you think we're going to see anything crazy this year? Hardware wise or anything like that?
Well, there's a couple of NDAs that I know of, but no, I can't really make any predictions at the minute.
Fair enough. All right. Let's move along in order as they appear on the screen, and let's go with Coolcat Terri. Let's get this. Actually, let's just do Scrub first because in case he does have to take off. So Scrub, how about you, man?
Well, man, I know it's going to be a lot of games coming out, especially in February. So one of the ones, yeah, I do want to check out Starfield, but there's so many games now that are just teetering on. Will it come out in 2022? Will it come out in 2023? My way, because what's going to be on the back end until I see E3 come out, you know, especially like something like a Fable. I don't think it's going to make it this year, but you never know. Something might pop up and surprise us. This year, the end of this year, and 2023, I believe, is where all these Xbox studios and the promise of studios and more games, which we have already started to get, is just going to blossom into I don't know what else to do. And that's not counting any game that we've been getting in the Game Pass or third party deals. So the things we got with the studios, you know, Perfect Dark, I don't think that'll be anything till later, but you know, you got Crossfire X, which I've seen stuff as far as on the multiplayer, but I do want to see that storyline, see what's going on. As far as I know, it's already out and we've been gushing all over it. Halo, I know they'll start their season 2. Are we going to get more of a campaign pour out, or are we just going to be playing Battle Pass? Because right now, that's pretty much in my eye. Have Battlefield killed their own self. Call of Duty, it's fun, but it's not Halo. There's just a myriad of games that's coming out with Xbox. Like I said, I'd have to pull the list up as far as all games that are coming out, but some are this month, but there are tons of games on all platforms that are coming out in February. They're going to be fighting for space. Is somebody going to eventually move out? Because of COVID and the pandemic, all these games that we've been waiting on are now getting pushed back, and now companies are going to be forced to say, "Hey, we have to get this game out for the end of this quarter." The end of this quarter, I think, the end of this first Q1, finishing in March, and then Q2, you're going to see games come out just because they have to. So. I am excited to see where this is going. I do believe there'll still be games that are going to get continually pushed because they just can't finish the game yet.
Okay, nice. All right. Who wants? I guess we'll go back to Coolcat Terri. Nurse, are you with us for another minute, or do you want to do your outro?
I think I'll be another intro. I'm sitting here waiting because we're in Louisiana. If like one snowflake hits the ground, they shut down the whole city. So there's a possibility I can still, but I'll do my outro anyway, just in case, because I do believe I'm gonna end up leaving. Glad to be with you. Glad to have Pope with us. Awesome talk interview and getting a little in depth on you and your process. Glad to see the chat here, hanging out with all you guys. It is 2022. We've made it a new year, thankfully. Hopefully it'll be better. Here's to living life, enjoying our family and our friends, playing our games, and hey, let's start off a new leaf and let's leave some of the toxicity behind us and let's just have fun, because this is getting ridiculous. Like I was telling folks, like my daughter, she wanted to, she asked me for an Xbox. Couple of months down the way, I posted I got her a new Xbox Series S and put it up and show, and there are just people on there. Why would you buy her that crap? Oh, she only plays Roblox and this, and you got her a Series S for Roblox. Well, so if I can afford, I mean, yeah, people is, you should have got her this, or you should have got her a PC, or you should have got her PlayStation. Why didn't you get us a Series X? And it's just like, come on, man. And it's for a kid. She wanted it. She's having a good time with it. Just don't worry about what everybody else is doing. A lot of times people are, oh, why spend all this money or do this? If I want to spend money, I want to spend money. If I don't have the money, don't knock another person because they don't have the money for whatever. It's all about spending time with our family and friends and having fun. If you can only play Xbox on your tablet because you can't get the hardware, guess what? Now you can do it. So just let's all be thankful.
Did you see a video of that one kid? He got the PlayStation 5 for Christmas and he opened it up and he was all mad and disappointed. He's like, I wanted a PC and Game Pass.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh yeah.
That made me laugh.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, it took years for me just to get the Nintendo, and then I had to buy every game myself by getting an allowance and raking leaves and iron clothes and stuff. And some of these kids are getting, $3,000 PCs off the bat. So just be thankful, because Terri has said it too. She was getting consoles the generation almost later, but she still had a great time with it. I don't think we should be comparing each other to each other, and just as long as we're enjoying games, that's all that matters. So you guys can find me on Xbox if you want to add me. Community game night, I try to pop in, but a lot of times I'm playing a lot of Xbox right now as far as Halo multiplayer. So Scrub Space Nurse, so Scrub Nurse. You can find me on Twitter at Scrub Nurse 3. And like I said, I'm getting all my stuff back together, hooking up so I can start streaming. So I'll check you guys later. Great first show of the new year. And if I don't have to go, I'll just pop back in. But I'll see you guys later.
We'll take care, Brad.
Great day.
Happy New Year.
And if you ever need any support, Scrub, just give us a shout.
I'll definitely do that. I appreciate it.
That's what Pope's here for, That's what he does. So.
Bless you. Thank you.
All right.
See you.
Who's next on the docket?
That will be
Me
Terri.
now, right?
Yes, back to Terri. Yes, I was going to go with Terri. That's right. So back to you, Terri. How about yourself? What are you most excited for?
Terri, hold on. Before you go, I'm going to let you finish. But first, let me tell you. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Somebody kick him off the stage.
get the old, what's it, the cane, is it? And just grab him by the neck,
the hook, and pull him like left stage.
Anyway, sorry about that, Terri. Go right ahead. What are you looking forward to, or the game you're looking forward to the most? And do you have any bold predictions for this year? What might happen in the gaming scene?
Man, I don't really know if there's a game I'm looking forward to most. There's a bunch that I'm looking forward to for this year. I can't really say I could put one above any of the others because everything has been so wishy-washy the last 2 years with games getting delayed that I don't want to be like, this is my game for this year, and then it doesn't even come out this year, but like, I know like for this month alone, there's only one game coming out here in January that I care about, and that's Rainbow Six Extraction. And then I'll have to pay attention to indies for most of the month because there isn't any other big games this month. And then throughout the year, I mean, there's other games, like Saints Row. There's the new Avatar game that was announced, Gotham Knights, and a bunch of others. And so I definitely have my eye on a lot of stuff. It's just I don't I can't for sure say like, yeah, this is the game because I don't know if it's coming. I mean, Skull and Bones has been my big game for like the last 6 years, and it still hasn't come out, even though it was supposed to come out back in 2018. So it's like I don't really like saying this is for sure my game for the year because you never know. So it's like see what happens. But yeah, there's a lot of great games coming out. There's Forspoken. Forspoken, I have my eye on that one too. I think that one has some good promise. I do like RPGs and stuff, so I definitely have my eye on that. And then Nintendo has the sequel to Mario Rabbids. That one looks like a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to that too. So there's like a wide assortment of stuff. It's just I don't know if it's coming out for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah,
say
exactly.
That, with the history of what's happened in the last 2 years, I can't say this is coming out. Oh, and Sifu. Sifu's another one that's on my list. Oh yeah, there's a lot of good stuff though, for sure.
Nice. And did you make a bold prediction of anything you think might go down this year?
Think that might go down this year?
Like, do you think we'll see hardware? Do you think anybody will make a big acquisition announcement or anything that's kind of crazy? You think E3 will get canceled? You know, anything like that?
No, E3 will not get canceled. I think when it comes down to like conventions and things, I'm kind of interested to see what's gonna happen with that because I know when it comes to game packs, they've really cracked down and got very strict with mandates. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a good thing or if that's going to be a huge blow up in their face, and then there's going to be a lot of negative news on them. I'm kind of curious how that's going to happen. But otherwise, I really can't say anything else because I don't foresee acquisitions. There may be acquisitions, but I mean, I'm really not one that's going to be like, they should. I don't really have anything.
Hey, fair enough.
Whatever happens, it'll be a surprise. So you gotta live for the surprise.
Absolutely. Well, definitely got a few theories, but we'll get to them in just a moment. Let's get into Eternal Shaddai. How about you, my friend? Which game or games are you most excited for in 2022 or this year? And do you have any bold predictions about major news announcements? Because hey, this is one of those podcasts where then you can come back and say, "Man, he called it. He called it." Go ahead, Shaddai.
Well, I am not like Axel, like he did with Deathloop. That was kind of, you know what happened. You know what happened.
There's no, I was not modest at all.
There is a lot of games coming out. Like everybody else, we have that mentality that there's a lot of games coming out in 2022, unless if something unexpected happens and it gets delayed again. But as of right now, as we all know, there's a lot of games, and also whatever they're gonna show on E3, also that will make pretty much the game library a little bit more extensive. It's gonna be even longer. Right now, the ones that I'm like interested, that will be probably like Crossfire X or Tunic. I still have to be a Plague's Tale, but the second part looks even more interesting. So I'm looking forward to that one also. We all know Starfield is gonna be there, but for my bold prediction, it's gonna be a little bit hard. We all know that probably Forza Motorsport, what is it, 8? I know they're gonna show it. It's gonna be really hard right now. They're gonna show pretty much Contraband. That's something that it has been quite some time, especially the game that Compulsion Games haven't mentioned yet. I guess this year should be a really good year for them to show their project. But it's gonna be really hard. It's really hard. My boldest prediction probably whatever second project, the Coalition, other than Gear 6, that's probably what I'm looking for to see. What are they going to show? But as of right now, that's what I have on mind. And I'm still waiting for the last night. I'm still waiting for it, and I know Scrub Nurse is doing the same. Is the same thing, but that's a game that actually caught my eye. What is it, 2 to 3 years ago, and it haven't been released yet. Supposedly because of technology, being a little bit more. More advanced or anything like that, but that's a game that I'm actually waiting for it because that's another cyberpunk game, indie cyberpunk game. But other than that, I'm just looking forward to it. Stalker 2 also, I'm looking for it, even though it was backlash by the NFTs and they pulled back. I guess that's the year for NFTs. Ubisoft is behind that. Looking forward for that remake. What they said for Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things, and like Terry said, there's a lot of games that Ubisoft are pushing back, especially for Prince of Persia 2. So there's a lot of things. Yeah. There's a lot of things happening.
Nice.
Can I just add? Do you think some of the pushbacks, right, is because of Unreal Engine 5?
Potentially, yep.
I wouldn't be. I never thought of that because I forgot about that demo that they did with the Matrix.
Yeah, the Matrix.
Good call on that one.
Was just like playing a movie. I mean, it was just unbelievable that demo. So I think a lot of these game companies are trying to do the switch.
And you are correct. I wouldn't be surprised.
So I think that's where some of the delays might be because it's not easy to convert from 4 to 5. You have to. So yeah, I think that's when our minds are really going to be blown.
By the way, Shaddai, is that a new hat and a shirt? Because that looks awesome. I'm not sure if you had the hat on before, but show us that shirt you got there. Is that a Superman crest with a Xbox controller in there?
That is correct.
Hot damn! Look at that. Where'd you score that thing?
Yeah, I think that was on when you actually crowned me to be part of the of being member of Good Morning Xbox. I decided to order it on Amazon, and I'm like, wow, this is very unique.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's very.
I love that hat too. I got to get one like that. That's nice.
Yeah, I saw Axel, but I'm like, you know what? Mine is cooler because he's got gray. His is kind of black.
Are we going to be playing a game of 1-Up? Because I love playing this game.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Axel stands up and shows off his Xbox underwear.
Not that far.
Let me go get my Crackdown 3 socks. Hold on.
Oh, come on.
I know.
I normally have to wear my hat just to hide me grey hair.
Hey, at least you got hair. That's good, right?
Well, there's a little bit
a weird route now.
Going off the rails.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Next thing you know, Shaddai has an Xbox tattoo on his left butt cheek.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They'll be like, it was a prison tattoo.
Yeah, I was gonna say something else, but I'm gonna keep it there.
Thank you for not zooming in on that.
I'm not gonna go for that.
Showed us his tattoo, yeah.
No,
actually,
to get back on track, though, I wanted to say that I think another part of the games being pushed back, at least the ones that are pretty much done, would be the fact that there's a lot of loss in personnel because of the pandemic and stuff, and aren't working.
Mm-hmm.
Others quit, and other layoffs, and it's just been bad for a lot of studios.
Yeah,
that is correct. Man.
All right, it's time to bring in Axel, who's got looks like a new shirt. I could believe, unless I'm wrong, that says Halo.
Yes, this is my Christmas.
No, he just saying hello. He's like Halo.
It's my Halo sweater.
Hello.
Halo. And of course, it goes with my Halo hat.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Halo
which also
underpants.
goes with my Halo controller.
Ooh.
That goes with all my other Halo stuff.
He likes Halo, apparently.
Apparently, yes.
A Halo underwear too.
Oh goodness.
No.
Yeah.
The thing is, you haven't got a halo on your head like me, though.
No, not yet.
You should get some custom underwear for your wife. This is Master Queef in the front.
Oh, boy.
If anything, my
That's
wife is
great.
going to get the Cortana
Yeah,
4 outfit.
Did you watch the New Year's celebration for Seattle?
Yes, where they played the Halo theme.
Yes.
Yes, I loved
Really?
it. On the
That's
needle, on the Space Needle, right? I think it's what it's
Yes.
called. It's the
Nice.
Space Needle.
Wow.
Yeah, loved it. So
All right, Axel's here next. Go ahead, answer the question. What are you most excited for? And do you have any bold predictions for this year?
well, I only have a short list of
Oh
games
my
that I'm looking forward to in
Holy
2022.
mackerel. Sounds
Yeah,
like a backlog to me. Cyber Gunter said that in the chat, and he's probably right. The only thing that is guaranteed this year is we're going to grow our backlogs and never finish anything.
Pretty
That's
much.
true. True story. So some games I know I'm definitely going to get. I'm definitely going to get Total War Warhammer 3 because I love the Total War Warhammer series. I've played 1, 2, over 100 hours each. So I'm definitely playing the third one with my friends and by myself as well.
Are you talking about Space Marines?
No, this is a Total War, the PC series.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a Warhammer offshoot.
Oh, okay. No, he just came off,
Game Pass day
Space
one.
Marines.
Yeah, and it's Game Pass day one, even better. I'm definitely gonna get Elden Ring. Really, me, I like that Souls punishment for some reason. I'm not as good as other people, but I just like grinding through it. Like I feel really good grinding through that kind of stuff, especially because it's open world. Starfield.
Self-flagellation. Yeah.
Starfield, I'm definitely getting. What else can be said about Starfield? Company of Heroes 3. So being in the army, a lot of our legacy goes back to World War II Europe. And Company of Heroes 1 and 2 have really nice cover mechanics where you can use the environment to help you. And Company of Heroes 3 is just looking to continue that. It's an RTS on the PC again. So looking forward to that one. Homeworld 3 was announced at the Keeley's. So I'm looking forward to that one because we haven't had a new Homeworld since I think the Deserts of Amakrath or something like that it was called.
Right.
Bayonetta 3. Huge fan of Bayonetta. One of my favorite games of all time. Right, Terry? This doesn't have to be an Xbox only list, right?
No, I threw Nintendo in there. Go for it.
Yeah, no, I'm also throwing God of War Ragnarok in there because I like God of War. I'm fairly platform agnostic, although I do love my Xbox the most. So yeah. Gotham Knights, huge Batman fan. That's easy. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. The sequel to what is probably one of the greatest games ever made, Breath of the Wild. Just so much fun, and Breath of the Wild 2 looks to bring that out. I'm really praying for it. I'm going to hold off on this one buying it day one, but I'm really praying that Sonic Frontiers is good. I really want this open world Sonic game to be good. I'm going to pre-order it, but I'm not going to pick up my pre-order until I see some reviews and see where it goes. As you know, Newf, 3D Sonic is hit or miss.
Hit and miss. Yeah.
So I'm really praying for this Sonic Frontiers. And of course, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League looks like fun as well. Looking forward to all of those games. I have more on this list, but they're not the ones I'm looking forward to the most. So yeah, those are the games that have been announced. Those are the ones I'm looking forward to. As far as bold predictions, I predict that all of these games are going to get delayed by 6 months, at least. No, I'm just kidding. Xbox related bold predictions. We didn't get any real big acquisition announcements this year. I think it's because they were buttoning up the Bethesda stuff. But I think that they're going to make some acquisitions, maybe not as big as Bethesda was. And the reason I say that is because Bethesda was the third biggest acquisition in Microsoft history. Correct. Just to give you an idea of how much they pay for stuff.
I think it was the second one behind Mojang.
You're right. I think so.
Yeah. No, I think they paid $3 billion for Mojang and they paid $7 billion for Bethesda. Correct. So, yeah. But either way, Mr. Joanna Dark, I totally forgot about that one. Project Triangle on the Switch also looks epic.
They also just cleared the way for the acquisition of the Dragon Naturally Speaking company, which will now be the second biggest acquisition that they've ever made behind Bethesda. So.
Right.
So that's good. Even though that's a Microsoft wide thing, that's still probably going to play into what we see as well. For the
Absolutely.
technology.
Shout out to an amazing chat one more time because we got Mr. Joanna Dirk joining us, and I see our good friend of the show, Mr. Boomstick XL, is in the house. How's it going, Boom? Good to see you here. Happy New Year, Slim73. Dreadpool is in the house. So we got a great crew here this morning, General Spartan and more. So again, thank you guys for being here. And just a reminder, at the end of the show, we're going to do a draw courtesy of Casket Repair for a 3-month Game Pass subscription. So we got the wheel of names ready to roll. I keep adding them as I see you guys in the chat. So, but anyway, Axel, continue.
Yeah. Jesus, I had a train of thought here and I just totally lost it. We were talking about acquisitions. I do think, one thing I do think Xbox is going to get into finally, in 2015, Phil Spencer famously said, nobody's interested in VR. And I can tell you right now that VR is the #1 trend right now in search engines. So I believe that Xbox might finally put out a VR or announce their entrance into the VR space this year.
New HoloLens.
Can I ask everybody this question? Why in the hell is it only now people seem to be waking up to VR? The Oculus has been out for a while, and I saw more people buy it this year than they did, and everybody now is raving about it all of a sudden. It's like, oh, it's great. And I was like, dude, we've been telling you, man. And so I was
probably
like,
because of the price.
No,
it still hasn't gone
changed.
down.
The price hasn't gone down at all.
No, but everybody's buying them.
I think because when it comes to VR, I mean, there are some good VR games, but most of them have the jankiest controls, and they're just terrible.
Probably, yeah.
There was no VR standard before. Everybody was doing their own thing, so you didn't know which ecosystem to jump into. And I think Oculus has kind of become the go-to ecosystem now. That and also Steam also, I believe, helped with Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
That's like the VR game to get. But VR is one of those things where I've heard people talk about. I've heard you talk about it, Newf. When I got the VR, I asked for the Quest because, I can't get a hold of PS5. I'm not going to fight anybody for it. So I'm like, okay, get me a Oculus Quest. It's widely, if it's available. And it turns out that it was.
Yeah.
And hearing you describe it and experiencing it are two completely different things. It is one of those things you have to experience to figure out how amazing it is and how immersive it is. It's crazy how good the Oculus Quest does things.
You don't get
there's some little nuances to it. You got to figure it out, watch some videos, but the experience of VR, especially I've loaded Half-Life Alyx into it, and I'm like, holy cow, this is something else. And it's definitely something you got to experience. So I believe Xbox, bold prediction, Phil Spencer is going to turn around from 2015 and finally bring VR to the masses, to the Xbox masses.
Yeah.
Well, I think part of that now is we now have hardware that can do it justice.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just taking away those cords alone, like that was always one of my biggest things with PSVR. It was heading in the right direction, but just always being like several feet from your console and pulling wires out because it had this big clunky box. There was advantages to having a processor that wasn't in the headset too, but you felt really confined. Whereas the Oculus that you have there for, like, you can literally walk into your kitchen and set it up in just several minutes and have your own little space and then play. And there's a wide variety of games. Some look amazing. Some look very typical, like low-end VR. But, it's come a long ways, and the lightness, the form factor, everything built right in. The only thing I do suggest, if you can't afford it, get one with bigger memory, because I have the introductory level one, and I just installed Medal of Honor on it, and my God, it took up almost the entire memory. So I have 2 games installed on the damn thing. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, it was too bad they don't have at least an option to put like an SD card or something in,
right,
where you can install. And I think maybe that would be a future where you can put in a micro SD or a SD whatever, and just at least be able to have upgradable memory, because that's BS with this whole limiting memory, especially with games starting to get large in size. This can't happen if games are gonna be 50, 60 and 100 gigs eventually, and then you got a headset where you can have one game. That's gonna kill it.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think that's the main thing. There's no reason to sell several models of it. Just give one with an expandable memory and you got a winner. Yeah, and I also love about the Oculus is when you walk out of your grid, what do they call it? Your Guardian grid.
Yeah.
It switches on the infrared cameras, and you can see the world around you. So that's really awesome too. You don't
And
crash.
it's nice because most of the new, there are some older games that don't, but a lot of the newer games recognize that you might be sitting in a chair. You can tell that you're sitting in a chair, so you're not going to be moving around. And so yeah, I can play most of the games. There are some games I can't because I can't turn around and deal
Onward,
with that.
stand up only.
But it's becoming more and more accessible. So
Absolutely, and so yeah, I'm all in on the metaverse. Mark Zuckerberg has me now.
I wouldn't go that far.
Alrighty, so let's wrap her up. We got one more before we get my views and we close the show. Cerebral Paul, let you come in here,
finally,
my brother.
Jesus Christ! All the games
Hey,
I want to talk about have been.
I know, but hey, that's the order of the way you come in. If you come in late, you're going to be the last.
I
guy
know.
on the docket.
Bull crap. I got bounced around. Anyway.
Oh, nothing's changed for Paul this year. I can see.
New Year, St. Paul.
Damn straight.
All right, go ahead, Paul.
Older. Anyways, let's see. So what do we got here? Of course, I am looking forward to the Total War game. I am looking forward to Stalker 2, of course, or 3, whatever we're up to here. Stalker 2 and Redfall, and of course Starfield. See, I got a lot of games I'm looking forward to. So, and I think they've said they're like 28, close to 30 games that are going to be day one Game Pass this year. So it's not for lack of games to play, because I'll try them all, even if they're not my style. I tend to do that with Game Pass games. As far as big announcements, I don't tend to play into that stuff because I really, I just what comes. I don't try to speculate too much because I found, especially nowadays with all the delays and stuff, speculation tends to lead to letdown. And I never want to be one of those guys going, well, they should have done this, they should have done that. No. Let them do what they're going to do and enjoy it when the news comes. Maybe because I'm older, but, I don't need to know everything that's going to be coming out or everything that's going to big announcement for the next year and a half. I do. I mean, this is like the first year I actually watched E3 all the way through, and some of the other shows, the more recent ones. But for the most part, I like the idea of, it'll come when it comes, because I think that's because of the era. When I grew up, we didn't know what was coming until it was announced in the magazine or you saw a commercial on TV or the Sears Christmas catalog came out. Yes, I'm old enough that we used to do the whole catalog market for mommy and daddy.
I remember
the pages we wanted. Yes, so there it is. I do hope to see VR come to Xbox. Once I started using mine, I did even tag Phil in a message going, "This is great for accessibility," because it truly is. I didn't, like others, until I actually experienced it myself, I didn't get the real draw. But once I experienced it, I went, okay, I gotta have that. That's cool. And you know how many, I played Demio a lot with some of the guys, and you know how many times I've almost set my controller down on the table that's, quote, in front of me? Yeah. So, the graphics can be that good. The Darth Vader one, when he's leaning down over you, looking down at you, you are cringing. You are trying to step back and get away from him.
So that's a great question as well, Paul, because for you, do you think that it's even more alluring because again of your situation in life? Like, for example, this is probably the closest you're going to ever get to a lot of things that most of us take for granted. So like for skydiving, for example, or mountain climbing or various things like that, yeah, perhaps you could do if you had the means and tons of money, but it's definitely different. So do you think now that's a great thing with VR is it sort of allows you perhaps to get as close as you can pretty much get to some of those experiences?
That actually touches on an article I was part of for National Geographic a couple months ago. That they have VR for a certain national park where you can, in the VR, you can walk through the park and look at the different trees. And they actually went and duplicated the park in the VR. So it's not like a mock-up. It is, it makes you feel like you're really in the park, surrounded by the lake and the mountains and all that. I do think that's a good thing. Not, for people like me, but for people that are also worse off than me, people like in an old folks home or something where they really never get to go outside. Well, at least this will give them the illusion and give them the feeling that they're sitting on a park bench staring out over a lake watching the birds fly by. So yeah, I think it has a therapeutic thing as well as a gaming thing.
Well, look at the golf game, Paul. We played that together, you, me, and Mag, and different people, and Graphic God, and so on and so forth. And like,
God,
it's
am I
just there's
bad? I am so
there's something
bad.
about that
So
experience,
bad.
wouldn't you say? Like, doesn't it feel like you're almost hanging out with your buddies, like in real life, when you're playing in virtual reality? Because to me, it does. It's almost like,
Yeah.
man, I almost feel like if we had drinks, we'd be at the bar, kind of deal, you know?
Yeah, and what's cool about that game is when you quote hit the ball with your club, there's feedback on the controller, so it really feels like you're hitting something solid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You're
one of
not just
the
you're not just swishing in the air. It feels like you're getting a reaction. You know.
design agencies I used to work for, we would use VR as a means to have a kind of mental health break. Away from your work, you could just go straight into VR and just sit in a chair and transport yourself to another world, just so it felt as if you were kind of getting out the office.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a
And the
it's
way
a good
graphics are
tool.
getting now, it's more and more
Yeah.
realistic. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, the
even like
graphics
you
in
say,
that golf game aren't realistic, but let me tell you, when you're standing over the damn cliff with a mini putt golf club, you literally feel like you are standing on that cliff, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, if I move 2 feet, I am going to my death over here.
If
Yeah,
it was
my-
hockey, Newf will go all over it.
yeah. My stomach clenched on one of those. Yeah, just because I feel unstable if I'm standing up looking down, and so that feeling kind of came back. It's like okay,
Oh.
but even though it's VR, part of you goes, oh, yeah.
You also have to go. You also, when you're playing a game, you have to try it, you guys. You have to go and you press one button, and it's basically like God mode. So basically, you are like this giant, and you're looking down at this miniature golf course, and you can see your little buddies with their golf clubs playing on the hole. And it's awesome. It feels like an old episode of The Friendly Giant. You know what I mean? It's like it's really weird.
I'm gonna
I
have
would
to
love
buy
to
this
see-
game as soon as it goes on sale now.
Oh, it's crazy.
I would
Yeah,
love
it's
to
only
see
like
them bring
$15.
back a game like Good and Evil where you are a god, because in VR that would be amazing. To reach down with your hand and grab the cow and throw it across the landscape or whatever.
Well, that's
Oh,
free
yes,
Resident
I
Evil
tended
full
to play more
VR. I
on the-
forgot about that.
I tended to play more on the evil side than the good side for that game. That's,
Lego games
the
in
villagers are
VR,
complaining
putting their
like I'm
own
on
blocks.
fire. Yeah.
Lego VR games, but stepping on the blocks, right?
I wouldn't be surprised Fortnite being there.
Oh, it'll come. Don't worry. I'm pretty sure.
I
Anyway,
have
finish her up, Paul.
I was gifted a bunch of VR games. I think one of them was the I haven't done it yet. One of them was the Resident Evil one that I haven't done yet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Almost want to stream that. I can set the camera up to look at me while you can see what I'm looking at. You can watch me jump around in my chair like a sissy.
Oh, horror games in VR take on a whole new life, let me tell you.
I couldn't even watch a horror film and then do it VR.
Oh, and
Bro,
that's
it's
when
like
they
it's
have,
like being there.
they have the 3D movies in VR, and Amazon has a whole setup for it as well.
Oh, dude, big screen. Big screen in VR. People are always showing 3D movies for free in VR. The other day, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy, the whole series.
And what's
in
cool
VR.
is
It
when
was
you go into one
awesome.
of those theater modes, you can see other people on that you don't know. They're sitting in the same theater watching the same movie as you are, and you can actually talk to them. And
Love it.
Yeah,
you
we
can
go
also
into the
tell
one
them
that you got to
shut up
try.
and
It
just
is
try to watch the movie. Shut up.
it's
get
called
off.
download the one that's on there called Venues. It's really
Yeah.
cool because you can go in and chat with people in this like almost like a movie theater lobby, and you can literally watch live concerts and wrestling events and things that your friend. Me and Mag were in there one night with his brother and different people. And we were shooting the beans, and it was awesome. It was like going to your neighbor's house and hanging out with them. It was crazy. Yeah,
I think
it's
we
an
need to move,
experience you can't get on anything
promoting
else.
Xbox to VR.
Yeah, no doubt how it's changing the topic. But anyway, Paul, go back to it, man.
Nope, I'm pretty much done. That was my big thing. That's the only thing that I'm really hoping to see, at least announced it this year that they're going to start attacking that side. So yeah.
Okay, last but not least, before we get out of here, here's my thing, and I'm going to keep it pretty damn short and sweet. A couple of games I'm definitely looking forward to, and it's ones that actually have at least physical dates on them. Horizon Forbidden West. Yes, that means I will have to pick up another PlayStation 5, which I intend to do so as soon as possible. But yes, for Horizon Forbidden West, I love the first game. It was my game of the year in 2017, so I have high expectations for this one, and by all intents and purposes, it looks to be another killer game. God of War Ragnarok, obviously, if it comes out in 2022, will be highly anticipated. I look forward to that as well, but we don't know if it will drop. It could still potentially get delayed, as Terry alluded to earlier, with this new COVID variant and people getting sick at record rates, it seems like all of a sudden. Who knows how that's going to affect teams down the stretch here. So we'll have to cross our fingers. Xbox games, well, there's a lot of different ones, but nothing that that really strikes my fancy at this point in time. But here's my bold predictions for this year. And I think Cyber Gunter alluded to it in the chat earlier. I really believe that not Epic Games, but I think that the team at the Coalition are making a remake of perhaps potentially Gears of War 2 or 3, or perhaps both, using Unreal Engine 5. We know they are working with something. They've been working with the teams over at Warner Brothers. They helped bring that to life, the Matrix. That Matrix experience that we got to play on our Series S and X, which looked absolutely incredible. That's one of the things that blew me away this year, and I hope that more games actually start to look like that level of fidelity in this particular year, and I think we will see more down the stretch. That's the kind of stuff that makes you go, now that's why I paid $600 for a console, because this shit is starting to blur the edges between reality and everything else. So tough to do. That's amazing graphics, but it's there and the potential is there. Outside of that, though, like I said, that's one of my predictions. I also think that Nintendo potentially shows us perhaps new hardware that will launch in probably 2024. 23 possibly, maybe even 2024. I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo has something big. It seems like they've been oddly quiet outside of the OLED, which didn't set the world afire. It's a great little thing, but I think Nintendo may have something up their sleeve to keep that momentum going as they continue to just sell things like crazy. And acquisitions wise, I'm not quite sure. There was another one that I was going to say. I also, and this is a more of a Debbie Downer thing, and I talked about this on Crossfire. I have a odd suspicion that Game Pass ups their price by the fall, potentially around before or shortly after, and probably before an Xbox release coming in the fall. I suspect it goes up a couple of bucks. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong on that. But I don't know, man. If they keep adding content the way they're going and the numbers keep going up, I can only see an increase coming sooner than later. We saw various competitors already make various adjustments in pricing, so that would not surprise me in the least. So there you go. That is my take on things. Hopefully, I'll be excited for Forza Motorsport when it comes out, and who knows what's going to drop. Hopefully, this E3 at this year's show, we get to see, like I said, some real meat and potatoes from Fable. If we don't see it by E3 this year, I will not lie, I'm going to be livid. It is time to show the goods. Microsoft's got to come out and blow the doors off things this year. No more of this wait. We need to start seeing the fruits of the labor at this point, and they need to drive their own momentum as well. They want their sales to continue, and this is how they're going to do it, is by getting people invested, and it's not just know it's coming, but here is a good chunk of what we expect to see. So hopefully we get that, and we'll see what evolves with Halo as well, which was I think a great game this year, and all that stuff. And we'll look forward to seeing the evolution of how that game pans out over the next 6 months or so as they add the co-op modes and other expected things to the game. But that's my take on where we are right now, guys. All good?
Perfect.
All righty. So anybody else has anything to add? We will start doing the outros.
Can I do
probably new
Bethesda
Bethesda game?
All right, Paul. Let's get you in and out of here first. So, Paul, let people know where they can check you out in this year.
You can find me on Twitter at Cerebral Paul 1, Twitch at Cerebral Paul, YouTube at Cerebral Paul. You can find me on Tuesdays at Retro Renegades, Thursdays at 4GQ TV, and then also on Community Game Nights, Fridays and Saturdays, most weekends, but not always. I think that's about it. But yeah, I got to take off. It's been great having everybody. Thank you, Pope, once again for being part of
I
a
know
great
what
show.
Paul.
Thank you, chat. That was incredible. You guys are amazing, and I will see you all next week.
Absolutely. Thank you, Paul, and Happy New Year, brother.
Bye, Paul.
Glad that you could be with us. Been a great journey. So catch Cerebral Paul again, links down below in the show. Most importantly, is you add a lot of these people on social media, you can find the rest of the links from there. Oh yeah, we've got to do our giveaway here before we close, but we'll let everybody do the outros first. Let's get over and let our guest, Mr. PopeArt, let people know, my friend, where they can check you out. I'm going to share the screen again of the website itself, because I think that's very important that people check this out. And it is, let me see here. Where am I at? Oh, I forgot to do it here. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm a little tardy when it comes to this stuff. So,
Or I could just share my camera if you want. Do people want to see Pope?
yeah, there you go. You can share the camera. Here we go. There.
Pope's just there you go. There's Pope.
And I will put the link down below. So here is the link, guys. Copying it here now. Just send it over to you guys so you can go directly to it. Maybe add it to your bookmarks. There you go, guys. Here is the link for the website where you can check out his designs and perhaps order yourself a new controller. Go ahead, Pope.
I've got a few more coming out this year. I keep saying next year, It's confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I've got lots of new partnerships already in the pipeline. So more controllers for you to win, more PCs for you to win, and then I've got some new designs coming, which I might allow to be purchased. I don't know.
Right.
I don't really have a rule. I just kind of like drop them and then hope. If people want to buy them, they can. If they don't, they don't. I'm not really that precious. So yeah, you can follow me on PopeArt _ on Twitter, or PopeArt, I think it's _designs on Instagram. I tend to just use my Instagram as a storage space, to be fair. I tend not to float too much on there.
Right.
But if you ever want to reach out, you need a bit of support, you need some, loving, just drop us a little message on Twitter. I'm more than happy to trying to help and support anybody I can, really. Not that I get much time, but I'm always there.
There you go, guys. Well, thank you for coming out with us today, Pope. We really appreciate it. We got some great insight on how the process worked for you, your designs, and obviously it's been a great 2021 for you. And I think there's huge things ahead for you and your work coming up here in the new year. Can't wait to see the new developments and everything else. And when that stuff happens, perhaps you'll have enough time to squeeze us in again.
There's some,
what's going on there?
There's some funky controllers. Oh, you see?
There you go. Look inside the Pope's dome. Look at that.
Got more like little Xboxy controllers and Sea of Thieves stuff. And,
nice.
Even the shoes. I see that.
Yeah.
Hey man, good to see you. That's great. There's the guys. Pope in the flesh, but no Pope hat.
That's actually true.
That's great. It's good to see you, man.
You get to see Pope.
Yeah.
I feel deceived. No Pope hat.
The boys are expecting to be sitting down in a big robe, making that would be funny though. You're sitting down this big old robe on, like doing the graphic design. That'd be funny.
And where's the ring? Where's the ring? People got to kiss,
Which ring?
But it's not gonna be a ring. It's some type of brush.
The brush. There you go. You got to kiss the brush.
Yeah, kiss the brush.
What says UK Dazzlers? What? Great stuff. All right, so let's get over to the rest of our Steam panel. Let them get out of here, and we will start with Eternal Shaddai.
People can find me on Twitter at Eternal Shaddai. Same thing for the Xbox console. And I'll be actually doing streaming on Twitch at ET Shaddai. And I would like to thank PopeArt to be, for this morning to be, with us and talk about gaming and talking about his arts, which they're very impressive. I'm very glad to meet the guy behind that, which, like I posted earlier, what he created for the Xbox One X, which that's how I met PopeArt randomly at Twitter. So I'm very flattered to meet the guy.
I'll have to do you an upgrade. I cannot have you just having a Series X, like.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. It was just a talk, and all of a sudden, within minutes, you already sent me that. I was very surprised. I'm like, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
I saved that quick.
Yeah, and it's just amazing how he just nails it like probably 90% of the time. I don't think I've seen maybe one, maybe two designs of yours, Pope, that I went, you know what I mean? But everything's subjective, right? So, but like most of the time, it's just my jaw's on the floor, and I'm like, dude, this guy's killing it.
You kind of
absolutely, you cannot please everybody.
That is correct.
But no, your controller designs right now and the stuff that you're doing look absolutely phenomenal. They're definitely heading above the old basic. Hey, here's a blue on white controller for you. Here's a purple controller. Like, there's some meaning, as you said, a story behind all your controllers.
I'll let you know a little secret. There was possibly a little rumor rumbling in the Microsoft campus of what if Pope ended up in Design Lab?
Oh man, I wouldn't be surprised if you were in it. If it was something like that, I would bite.
So that could be something that might happen in 2022. Who knows?
Weird. Yep. I'm feeling something here.
Yeah, me too.
There's an
no
illusion
coincidence
here
for him to mention that.
Yeah, you know how I like to tease everybody.
Oh yeah, sitting there waiting now. Damn you! When's it coming, Pope? When's it coming? Can't tell you. Yeah.
No.
Great stuff. Oh man, awesome. Speaking of awesome, Axel 1324, great little podcast on Friday nights, the Iconic Video Games Podcast. A great little crew there. Axel, let people know where they can catch up with that and everything else you got going down.
Yeah, so you can find me here on Twitter and on Xbox at Axel1324, just how you see it spelled out right there. You can find me on YouTube and on Twitch at Axel1324 Gaming. Be sure to give me a follow there. I'm going to start streaming again here on Saturdays, probably next week. The holiday season has just been too hectic to stream. I am the host of the Iconic Video Games Podcast. I'm joined by Princess Zelda and Doggy Dog 420. I have a fantastic little crew. And we are no consoles, no services, just games. And it doesn't matter which games. We're all about the games on my podcast. Yeah, and that's all I got. Happy New Year, everybody. Let's make 2022 the best gaming year ever.
Is the 1324 your bank PIN number?
No, it's not actually. So funny, the 1324 kind of came by. So I was in the military and they needed us to, it's funny you say PIN number. They wanted us to do this life insurance thing, and to change it, you had to make a PIN. And they gave, and I'm in the military. I have to memorize 100 different numbers already. And they're like, oh, the only thing is that the numbers can't be sequential and it can't be repeating. So you can't have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm like, whatever, 1, 3, 2, 4, non-sequential, non-repeating. So ironically, after that life insurance, now it's obsolete, right? Obviously, I'm out of the service, but that was my PIN for the life insurance when I was in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a PIN number, but just not for my bank.
Nice. Oh, sorry, just flipping through screens.
So,
all right.
And I used to say 1, 3, 2, 4, but people would still mishear me. They're like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. No. So now I say it 1324. It seems to stick better.
Last but not least, Coolcat Terri, obviously still working through her latest moves. So turbulent last half of 2021 for her, but obviously, hopefully, things get sorted here in this particular year. So Terri, obviously, let us know what's happening and where people can check out what content you got coming down the pipe.
Yes. So for those of you who are kind of confused as to why I'm like all over the place, I'm in the process of buying a house. I had to do an emergency move. So like my life is all like scatterbrained right now. I actually had an offer accepted on Christmas Eve. So as long as nothing goes wrong with the final steps of purchasing the house, we can officially say we bought a house on Christmas if it goes through. So that's the hope, which means I'll have to do another move. But everything's going well. You guys can catch me on Twitch. It's Coolcat Terri, just like you see down below, and I'm there pretty much every day, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and I play a wide assortment of games. Come and check that out. Catch me on Twitter at Coolcat_Terri, and you can catch a lot of indie related posts on there, as well as every now and then I might get into an argument with somebody, but it's always good stuff. And then I also have my own podcast that I do called Just a Glimpse. You can catch that on Spotify, Amazon, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, and all that good stuff. And I'm going to be starting season 3 on that. I'm actually going to be doing things different. I want to do a video version and put that on YouTube, and then I'll still do the audio versions for those that like to listen to it while they're doing chores around the house or commuting to work or whatever. So you'll still have the option. So go ahead and check that out as well.
Absolutely, guys. So make sure you do check out with it. And again, as I said, I have everybody's sort of links and things down below on YouTube in the chat. So go check them out and make sure you definitely check out our guest and all of our guests. Like I said, hopefully we're going to have a big year this year. A great way to start 2022 with Pope on the show. It's been a long time in the making. We learned a lot of nice things today. So we thank him for his time. And we hope to do more of this and more giveaways as well this year. Before I do my official outro, that is what we're going to do right now. I'm going to pull up the screen, the wheel of names, and we are going to do the giveaway for the 3 months of Game Pass, courtesy of Casket Repair, who's a fan of the show. And to everybody in the chat, record show today, record chat. You guys are absolutely dynamite. Can't thank you enough for that. Sorry if I did not get a chance to, shout everybody out as we sometimes normally do. But that's just because it's been a busier show and we had a lot to get to and all that stuff. So here we go, guys. Yes, on behalf of Casket Repair, wish everybody a happy new year. This is a great way to start. If you can't use the Game Pass, perhaps you know what, you can give it to a friend or somebody that's certainly willing. No one says you got to keep it for yourself. But if you win it, hey, all the best, and we'll do some games and different things as the year goes on. But let's do this, shall we? Here we go. We're going to hit the little tab button here. I think it's hit it in the middle, and it should spin the wheel. I've added everybody's names that I saw in the chat today. As I said, I do see you, and I try my best. So here we go. Let's see where the wheel is going to stop.
There's no PopeArt in there, like.
Oh!
Ooh.
Lemon!
108, Dragons TV. Lemon gets the 3 months of Xbox Game Pass. Congratulations, Lemon, and thanks for your support in 2021. We hope to get you on this podcast here in the near future as well. So that's good. Yeah, if you can't use it, hook up your friendly neighborhood Axel, apparently. So sounds like he needs a few months. There you go, everybody. As where to find me, you know where to find me, guys. Pretty much everywhere. As Newf Nukem. Looking forward to playing a lot more with everybody in the new year as well, or this year, sorry. Community game nights. I didn't do one this past Saturday because I had guests over at the house, but let me tell you, I joined in with Tushy, and then we played a little bit of Titanfall 2 yesterday. It was phenomenal. Actually, I think
I missed that as well.
You did, and it was great. They played
favorite
Uno
game.
after that.
Uno.
Yeah, they played Uno. That was great. There's problems with Uno. Every time I go to boot it up, mine crashes. So I have to delete it and then restart it and redo it. So I don't know what the heck is going on. But yeah, the servers are still a bit messed on Titanfall 2, by the way. So we saw lots of crashes there where the game just basically it's frozen, but you can turn 360 in the game. Like I could literally turn and look around, but I couldn't fire. I couldn't move forward or backwards or do anything. It's really weird.
Yeah, I asked them to put that feature in so I could kick your ass, you see, next time.
I think he shut down the Titanfall servers, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they must still be going. We managed to get lots of games off.
Really? Okay.
That was the first Titanfall, not the
first one.
The first one to close, yeah.
All right.
So basically, what I got a coffee coaster with the first Titanfall now. Is that correct? Can you even play it?
I mean, Titanfall 1 was multiplayer only, so if they shut down that server, no, you can't play it. And they won't even turn on PvP player-to-player servers either. So
Should
Kinda
make at least a
sucks.
bots mode or something. That's kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But anyhow, not to continue on and keep you guys here any longer than necessary. You know where to find me, and obviously, like I said, outside of community game nights, here with this fine crowd on Sundays. We'll be back again next week with another episode, number 30, as a matter of fact, of Good Morning Xbox. And you can find me Tuesday nights hanging out with Titan Drago, the middle-aged game guy for Gaming After Dark. Yes, and we look forward to having another great year ahead. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to the chat. You guys are fantastic. We'll see you guys again on the next show. Until then, have a great week. And again, Happy New Year from all of us here. So hopefully it's going to be filled with prosperity and most of all health, because God knows, as Axel mentioned at the top of the show, our thoughts are with Spooky Sprocket. We hope that it's nothing super serious and that he recovers quickly. We'll see him soon. And shout out to everybody, guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks. Take care and have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.